I'm Rezlar.
I'm Frosty.
As nobody's really engaged quite yet.
Yep. Oh, there we have a bit of. Oh, was that a triple stun for the Mystic?
And welcome back to the Value Pack. And welcome everybody to another episode of the Value Pack. I don't think any. Oh wait, no, we do have. Well, do we announce that right now, Frosty? The thing we're doing with the thing me, you, Nayashe, and someone else were talking about the other day. Do we go ahead and announce that, or do we hold on to that?
Yeah, so twitch.tv/SoFrosty. Just kidding. I don't know. Yeah. You mean the tournament?
Yes. The
tournaments, plural?
Yeah, well, I guess the cat's out of the bag because Frosty doesn't know how to be secretive.
Yeah, we can announce our vague plans.
Our vague plans that we don't even have set yet. So yeah, we're doing a tournament. It's gonna be a regular thing. We're doing so it's essentially me, Frosty, Nayashe, and Yellow, who is a ninja. He's very focused on PvP, arena Varsha type stuff. And he really enjoys tournaments. And he contacted us three and asked us if we would be interested in doing a like regular tournament, basically. So once a month, either me and Frosty, Nayashe, or Yellow are going to be holding a tournament. So later on this month, Yellow is going to be having the first one, and that's going to be a 3 versus 3 tournament. Next month, it's going to be me and Frosty, and we're going to be holding a 2 versus 2 tournament. And then the month after that is going to be Nayashe, and he's going to be hosting a 1 versus 1 tournament. And we're basically just going to be...
Wait, remember we changed the 1 versus 1. Nayashe's going to be hosting, and it's just going to be a 2-hour stream of him trying to learn Meiwa.
Yeah, basically. I'm going to have a whole bunch of viewers come in, and they're all going to be proving how much better than they are.
And then we have some very loose ideas about if we want to tie this all together, but we just got to kind of see how it goes first. It's not going to be like a BSL thing. It's going to be very casual, no prizes or anything like that. It's just if you want a PvP, the option's there for you. So yeah, 3v3 this month with Yellow. I'll see if I can't find the sign up, and I'll put that in the description below if you're interested in that 3v3 that Yellow is hosting later this month. And then next month we have the 2v2. The month after is the 1v1. And I think we do have some extra tournaments kind of thrown in there. I know Yellow was thinking about doing a separate tournament that would be its own thing. Nayashe wants to do the Corona Cup at some point. That's going to be its own thing. And me and Frosty might do our a specific value pack tournament as well, but it's just everything's kind of very loosely. It's just ideas right now, basically. But so if you're interested in PvP, if you're interested in tournaments, that sort of stuff, competition, make sure to check that out. 3v3 sign up link will be in the description, so you can go check that out if you have a team and you want to fight other people. All right.
Should we ask people for ideas on the name of the quote unquote series? I guess because we were running through some ideas. Frosty mentioned how he liked how KR said, "Show me the control," and I'm kind of partial to this name, but "Show me your wallet." I thought that would be a pretty good tournament.
It doesn't work if we're on trials, though.
No, this would be non-trial.
Show me your wallet.
If we were using regular characters, I would be 1,000% down with "Show me your wallet." But if we're using, it doesn't make sense if we're using trials.
Do you think Cacao would sponsor that?
Yeah, right. All right, so I think that's it for that. So yeah, if you're interested in that, be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. It's going to be a regular thing. Like I said, we're doing it every month. Someone is going to be hosting one every month, 3v3, 2v2, or 1v1. So just keep an eye out for that kind of stuff. I'll try to remember. Hopefully Nayashe and Frosty can remind me. We'll try and let you guys know when that shit's kind of like coming up and when we're doing the next one and all that kind of stuff. Give you kind of like regular updates on it. So, all right. So I think that was the only like announcement type thing. So our guest today, he has been on the podcast before. He is the guild leader of a very small guild, the little tiny siege guild called Aftershock. TimAllen, thanks for joining us today, sir.
Hell yeah, brother. I'll drink to that.
Okay.
Diet
You're
Mountain
just-
Dew. Don't pop open your Diet Mountain
Is that a
Dew.
LaCroix? Is that a LaCroix?
It's a diet root beer.
Oh, okay. I thought it might be a LaCroix.
Oh, God.
No, I ran out of those.
So how have you been? We haven't had you on in, I think it's been like, what, 8 months was the last time you were on? 9 months ago?
Oh boy.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
I was in Vertex last time I was here. Life's been crazy both inside and out of the game. But Aftershock has been actually a really wonderful thing in my life, again, inside and out of game. So I'm happy to be here. A lot of stuff has happened, lot to talk about, so I'm excited.
All right, we'll get into that. I want to first address a pressing issue. I know I haven't been following too closely. I've only heard rumblings and rumors and seen a couple random screenshots. I'm just wondering, what is the deal? Since we have you and Nayashe here, what is the close relationship that you and Shakybay have? If you could elaborate on that.
Oh God, we're starting with this.
Yeah, I think we should just start there. You guys seem to have
Rip
a
the
good
Band-Aid
friendship.
off.
Yeah, and I want to know just a little bit from your end what's going on there, how it all began, and yeah.
Oh, you want my side of the story, soup to nuts?
Entertain
Huh?
us. Yeah, your objective side of the story. Let's hear it.
Okay, so Shaky and I have had kind of a weird relationship, top to bottom. He's kind of a hard guy to get along with in general. Or personalities clash might be the right way to put it. But we've gone back and forth with helping each other, hating each other, helping each other, hating each other, and all those stories don't really matter. And so I guess he left BDO for a while. I don't really follow him too closely, and he starts coming back, and he starts kind of poking at me a little bit, and I guess he was poking at the guild at Aftershock specifically. I didn't realize he was making like ARC videos of each individual guild of him like sniping some kills during GVGs or whatever, and making the Shakybay style videos. And so I saw a clip from his stream one day or something, and it was like Aftershock needs to go back to Xbox was like his chat cover and like a list of kills. And I'm like, all right, little man, whatever. And then it turned into this like month-long arc of him this is my perspective, right? Is him kind of like clawing and begging for us to give him attention for some reason. And so he was 1v1ing Soggy, who is a 261, 297 gear score witch. That's a meme, but he's a high skilled and well geared witch in our guild. And he got this huge spike in viewership, and he was complaining about, he used a whale pod or this or that or whatever, and it was kind of cringy for us as Aftershock to watch. And then he calls me, like, I guess he wanted to have a voice call with me, and so on his stream, we're chatting, and I'm eating like a bag of chips or something. I'm not taking this seriously at all. I'm like talking with my mouth full, and he's like, 1v1 me, bro. You pink slips. If you win, I'll give you my guild, and if you win, give me your guild. And I'm like, no. What? I'm playing Witch. It's been like 2 or 3 months. I haven't even gotten into the battle arena. Number 2, I just really don't fucking care. And so he's been like this annoying buzzing bee. He just won't fucking go away, and I'm kind of tired of it. And so then he comes out with a video, or I come back to streaming after, a bunch of really tough real life stuff that I really would rather skip. And I come back to streaming and I fail like 27 pen attempts or something. So that's that clip of me losing my mind, screaming. It's really more about getting frustration of real life out more than it was about the game. And so it's like my 3rd most popular clip. And then I think a clip of me talking about how much he cares about Aftershock or something. I didn't find it transformative. It wasn't edited, and there was no, the hardest part of making a YouTube video is the intro. And so it was 2 minutes of my content, and that's not right. So I didn't want to hurt his channel. I just wanted to shoot, take a warning shot at him. So I know I would get the copy strike. So I copy struck him, and then it took about 24 hours. I got the email, and about 50 minutes later, I know you can redact it or retract it. And so I sent an email right away to retract it, so his video would get back up and he wouldn't have any permanent damage to his account. And he went ape shit. And I get it, right? But like what I thought he would do, worst case scenario, just like tenfold. And so he like told me he was going to kill me every single day for 365 days. You know, he on his YouTube channel, it's Aftershock's always going to be decked, and the score is always going to be positive. It's just how it's going to be. And so me and the boys really bit down on that. We hunted him and Byact on Arsha for weeks, and he just swap, and the war score's never been positive for Byact. And we've just had a really fun time, honestly, kind of turning, you know, all of what he wanted out of this, all of his terms of victory, we completely turned on his head, and they're all specifically ways that he has lost this fight. I just wanted him to leave me the fuck alone, and it was just getting worse and worse. So I did what I had to do to protect my content, and to, you know, to protect my content, I guess. And then you know, he started to make a bunch of IRL comments about me, and, you know, stuff like that, which I really don't appreciate. So just went in as hard as I could, but I kept it all in game. So
all right, and then as a follow-up, Nayashe, since you're officially Shaky's legal defense, what say you about Tim's position?
Shit, I don't think you want me as a legal defense. No, I mean, I think I know where at least the more recent developing drama started from. I don't necessarily have the clearest picture because I'm looking at it from my perspective, not Shaky's, obviously. So I can only comment on the more recent stuff. I can't comment on anything in the past. But so from my point of view, how I seen how this all popped up, basically there was one particular day I was streaming, and I was at Star's End. We were on the beach where I ran into Kitna in Aftershock. Yeah. So this was like right when Kuno Succession was first released, and, you know, everyone's still learning how to deal with the Succession kits, and Kitna was just outright fucking destroying us. Kuno Succession was really strong right out the gate, and the mobility and whatnot that kit carries is really strong. So it was definitely difficult to deal with. So me and Shaky were actually dueling him one-on-one, or him or her, I'm not sure. But and
Kitna's a robot.
That makes sense, actually. But no. So we were dueling Kitna one-on-one, and then another witch randomly came up. I think it was a witch or wizard. I think this was just a random, though. And then shortly after,
it was
Soggy came up. Well, no, there was another one randomly. It was, and then Soggy came up to kind of recruit that witch or something like that. I think it was what it was. But then Soggy joined in with Kitna, and then we decided to do some friendly 2v2s. Then after that, the 2v2s were going for a while. We were, it was friendly duels, whatever. And then for some reason, Soggy said it was Shaky that mentioned some trash talk. All I could say is, from my point of view, what I seen, I just seen for some reason Soggy was saying some sort of trash talk to me after he killed me, like kind of like a, you know, flex move kind of thing. And I don't know if it was the other way around or not. I just seen what I seen from my perspective. But and after that, it just turned from friendly duels into a more serious thing, where then it was all just about trash talking each other and whatnot. And it got less and less about just, you know, enjoyment of the fights. And so after that, you know, the duels got subsided and whatnot. And later that day, or not that day, a couple days later, with all the trash talk aside and whatnot, that ended from there. A couple days later, Shaky posted a video, one of his typical montages that he does on the regular, just showing content, things he's done throughout the week. And he was taking clips from various duels and trials he was doing with people that were trying to join the guild, and as well as some of the fights from our session. I don't remember exactly how many fights. It wasn't too many clips from it. It was like 3 or 4 clips, I think, from fights from our particular scenario or situation. And, you know, obviously showed some of the times where, you know, he was killing some people and whatnot, either Soggy or Kitna. And it's just montages. They just are what they are. And from there, I don't think he trash talked or anything like that in that particular video. Later, for some reason, Soggy felt the need to clip the hell out of my stream, all the all the particular deaths and whatnot from our perspective, and then tried to make some flex video, I guess, to kind of shut Shaky down on trying to post montages or whatever. But that's basically where it all kind of started off, I think, at least this particular, series of drama. And then from there, it's just been like this one thing where, like Soggy going in, clipping a shitload of clips from my stream. And then, the whole argument over content, like whose content that is, you shouldn't be doing that, blah, blah, blah. Me personally, I didn't really care. It's not like it really damaged me or anything, especially like there was some argument trying to say like I'm dog shit or whatever, which I don't claim to be anything, and just do my own thing. Just dole people a lot, and people either respect it or they don't, whatever. So, but that seems to be at least what from my perspective, what started all the recent drama. And then from there, it just kind of like slowly rolls out of control. And I think to be fair, both perspectives,
Sure. Yeah.
So, and it's just one thing after another, one trying to one up another is all I'm really seeing it from my end. I basically, for the most part, stayed out of it because I don't really have any interest in it per se. But I look at it this way from my personal in-game experience. In order to help motivate you, everyone needs a villain, so to speak. It doesn't matter if you were in the right or wrong. You just make a reason to have a villain, so to speak. Yeah. So that's kind of how I look at it for my in-game experience. Like, oh, Aftershock. All right, we can go after them. Whatever, that's fine with me. I don't care. The guild's a guild. As long as they're red, I'm gonna go and try to fuck with them. So that's all it really is for me.
I think the one point I really want to get across here about like the content side of things is I'm more than happy to consider sharing my clips and the stuff that I do. And I'm obviously very prideful of what I put on. And I do put a lot of work into the show that I put on. And it is a show, right?
Yeah.
If you just asked, if Shaky just asked, would have avoided this whole thing. I would have been totally cool with it. It would have been fine. But I think it's appropriate, especially when you use so much for so long, to just be like, hey, like Fake Uniform put a clip of my stream in his attempt to get into the map drama. And, it was just like 10 seconds or whatever. No problem. Like, you don't ask. I don't really want to talk to you. So just do it. Right. But like 2 minutes, like, maybe worth just like sending a message. That's what I would do, right? And that's how I'd like to be treated. And so I tried to make that point, but I guess I had to make it. Again, both sides went a little too far.
So is there?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, what I'm seeing from, at least from my point of view, it started off as something friendly. Just one wrong thing got said or whatever, and then it just divulged from there.
Is there going to be a Black Aftershock Alliance for Siege? So.
Well, if we ever get to the point where we're doing Siege,
all right,
then that can be a conversation of sorts. But I don't know about that.
I do, right. And the answer is no.
All right. Well, glad we got that out of the way. So basically, if you want to clip Tim,
Soggy, why were you stream sniping Tim? Actually, there was only one time I actually ran into Tim while I was watching his stream. And so I guess you could count that as a quote-unquote stream snipe. Just because I was at Mansham's and I happened to be on the right channel and I checked trees and Tim was actually doing trees. Other than that, I actually just randomly ran into you guys. Mostly because I know you guys are on Balanos 5 as your home channel typically. But
leaked.
At least that's how it was originally.
What the
and
fuck,
like
bro?
the one at Stars End when you were on
Are
Success.
you just gonna leak their channel on stream and podcast like that, bro?
Oh my god!
I mean,
this is why you and your guild are such shit.
I'm just explaining, fucking hell. But no. There was actually only one time I just purposely went out of my way to stream snipe Tim, and that was for just the lulz.
Bayak's home channel changes every 15 minutes.
More or less.
Backed. Dude, we're all
Quick,
victims.
hide the
We're all
boost.
victims of the capitalized I, dude. Oh my god. I'm in Gayxy. Reslar's in Sinfui.
No, I'm not. The fuck?
What? You left Sinfui?
I never joined Sinfui. It's
Oh.
still on my alt.
What are you in now?
You don't want to know.
So
Oh.
much leaking. So much leaking.
No, you're in
dudes.
Aftershock, aren't you?
No, I'm in a weeb guild.
What?
Did we snipe you during a life skill or something like that? Life skilling thing you were doing? That's what Sagi's saying. I don't think I've ever run into you while you're.
No, the one time Shakybay stream sniped me, I was gathering meat.
Oh. Well, then why is Sagi asking me that shit? I don't fucking know.
It doesn't matter. Just ignore him.
Nayashe, and, for the record, in case anyone is confused out there, Nayashe and Shakybay are not the same person. So, you know,
I'm pretty sure it's just two different personas. It's his Meiwa personality and his Musa
it's just
personality.
That's fair. Wait, what did you say Sagi's gear was earlier?
He was joking.
He's 269, 297.
No, it's not.
Yes,
he openly admitted to me he was 290, 340 plus.
Oh, 261. I'm sorry. He blew up his neck.
He was not that when we fought him.
Yeah, he was 269 when he fought you, and then he went for Ted Ogre and it blew up, so he's back to a Tri-Ogre.
Nah. I've seen his
Wait,
he is 290,
hold
240, 340.
The math doesn't add up in that scenario. You just paint.
Oh, we need a, that needs to be addressed, that's all. Let's not make that what it wasn't.
Well, now you actually have the gear, dude. Maybe this time you won't get clapped.
Well, I've been looking for Sagi, but he keeps unplugging his Ethernet. I don't know what's going on.
Oh no,
Oh my god,
dude! I say we keep the drama rolling, dude.
I think it's fun. It keeps things interesting in the game. Just like I said, it devolves into something a little bit more than what it should have. That's the only part that I think should not be.
Yeah, well, the important part is that it remains in like good fun, right? Like, I don't want to take sides or anything, but you can't be like actually pissed off at people for just like shit talking or something like that, you know? Like it's all gonna be it's all gonna be in the spirit.
There's nothing wrong with shit talking. It's just leave it in game. That's basically how I view it.
Yeah.
Like what Tim said about bringing like real life stuff into it, and the whole content being flagged and whatnot. Yeah, that's too far on all ends.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get out of the drama, move to something more neutral. The mappers and the exploits or non-exploits, however you want to call them. So, Tim, I believe you have some strong opinions on this. So I want to hear your point of view on the whole mapping situation. If you were a part of it, if you watched it, if you were for it, against it, hate it, what you think should be done, and then I think Nayashe, Reslar, and myself should share our opinions afterwards on what we think of everything.
Vote early and vote often. No, I think I convinced Bassy that we had 918 scrolls. but
Jesus.
Like, hey, is Aftershock getting into this? I'm like, hell yeah, brothers. We did 7 like 2 weeks ago or something after Siege. And so, but we had like we have returning players and stuff. We're Aftershock. We're a garbage Siege guild. So we take in new players all the time. But more seriously, I think when you really look at this from an outside perspective, when you don't have a horse in the race, which I absolutely don't, an exploit is a PR spin in the wrong term. It is an abuse. And as more information comes out about this and I have more time to reflect about it, I really kind of think that ultimately Cacao Games, Pearl Abyss, whatever, has mismanaged how they do and handle abuses and potential exploits in general. Like weight stacking has turned into, something that's pretty close to, that it's like literally an accepted bug, right? Like they allow it to be a part of the game. The CTG with the horse whistle thing was a whole nother thing. Nobody got like banned or punished for that. But then the 2 workers, 1 node thing somehow got turned into a punishable thing where, you know, Blade made like 50 million extra silver or something. And he gets almost lost his account forever. And then you've got all the inability to act on speed hackers, piloting, all that kind of stuff. And that comes down to Pearl Abyss really not giving Kakao Games, in my opinion, and this is maybe a little bit less than speculative. I may know 1 or 2 things about the relationship there. They just don't have the tools. When you send in a clip of a speed hacker, they're not like, well, he's speed hacking, this account's banned, or launch an investigation or whatever the case is. I think they have to make a really good case for every single person that they ban, because they are customers. So there's this mentality of acceptance for, you know, min-maxing, exploits, abuse, whatever terminology you want to use. And so when you conceptually think about what Black Rose did, not a bad idea, right? Let's get some free accounts in here. Let's get some extra chests. Let's get some gains, right? That's probably the inception of the idea. The level of which it was taken to is insane, right? A total abuse, just absolutely insane. And so when I saw what was going on, it was very obvious that that was not something anybody should partake in. And now, you know, people are trying to throw back on Snake and all that kind of stuff. And I think everybody has really kind of shit the bed. Kakao, Pearl Abyss, you know, they need to manage and understand how their events are working, and they've done a piss poor job of it previously. Anytime the game is free, it's abused, right, in some way with Shadow Arena and all that kind of stuff. They got to get a handle on this stuff. So I don't think it's a bad idea to make an example out of them a little bit, but then they have to continue to show resistance and get the tools to really ban or at least suspend these people for constant exploits, no matter what it is. And so this would not have blown up so much if it was not Snake versus Black Rose. And so Snake is doing, you know, putting all their streamers out there to view the whole thing, and it's turned into this enormous thing. That's all good and fine. And I'm not going to sit here and go, well, they've got piloters and avids earrings and all that stuff. Other people want to dig into that. I don't know about that shit, right? That's whatever. But for them to say that it had nothing to do with politics or anything like that is egregious at best. So now it's kind of forced to be what happens. So it was all shown. Rotaz, Kakao Games goes, holy shit, we got to do something about this. They post that thing on the forums, and they go, we're gonna do something. Basically, is what that said, right? That forum post said that. And then yesterday they adapted, or they edited it and went, we're still trying, but I don't know how this is gonna shake out. It's actually real complicated, and we may have spoken too soon.
Oh,
so,
Jesus.
Right. So now, I mean, it couldn't be more convoluted or crazy or anything else. So I don't know how else to really, I know I was super passionate about this on Wednesday. I couldn't wait to get some of this stuff out, because just the way people were treating each other was deplorable. It was just absolutely deplorable. And I was very frustrated with that. But now as this has kind of moved on and stuff, there's still a lot of that toxicity in the community, but you know, nobody's handling this really well. Nobody. So it's hard to really see through this because there's so many layers. It's so full of bullshit, and everybody's got such weird opinions about this stuff, and there's no good answer. There's just no good answer.
All right, so from just your point of view, black and white, just try to be as crystal clear as possible. What do you think should be the repercussions, if there should be repercussions? Or do you think there even should be?
30-day suspension and removal of the silver gained.
Do you think there should be, I know when the same thing happened in Korea, they did the extra silver 2 times or 3 times taken out.
You're conflating a couple different things, and the events weren't the same. They had some, apparently, this is unconfirmed, but I've heard from a couple different people that there was some massive easy leveling up alts event going on, to where Korea abused the actual shit out of it, like super hard. But no,
Right.
I don't think it should be like a 2 or 3 times penalty. I think the 30-day thing should be enough.
Right. So I'm not going to name his name, but I have a friend who participated in the Shadow Arena exploit, where you basically would join up with the team, quit immediately, get your bundles. Right. And they did the exact same thing. So it's not really like directly related to the Korean event. It's just that kind of seems to be a punishment theme that they do. So what they did is they took the amount of either monetary amount of what he earned and then doubled it. Now, he didn't earn that much. It was only like a few hundred mil or whatever, and then they doubled it. So they literally actually just started taking items from his inventory or deleting some of them. And it happened to him and his friend. So, yeah, it's not too out of the ordinary. It's not like specific to the event. It seems to just be something they did. They did the same thing with the Syrup exploit when the Central Market came out. So, yeah, just not on that. But I don't know. There's a lot of people, like, I know there's this whole Snake versus Black Rose narrative, but if we just set that aside, there's a lot of people that are not in Snake and not in Black Rose that have pretty strong opinions on it as well. And I don't believe that all of them are influenced by Snake. So I do think part of it is just, let's say if you're in a small guild like Sinfui, because, you know, I keep hearing one of the things a lot of people are saying that did participate is like, well, you're just jealous. You didn't think of it because we kept it to ourselves. Otherwise, you would have done it too. But let's say you're in Sinfui with Rezlar and Rezlar's ult. So I don't know how you could really participate in that, because you kind of need a huge group of people to do it. It's not something everyone can do. And I think those people that have no relationship to Snake whatsoever are also upset. Do you agree, or?
So I agree that people that are outside and in smaller guilds are upset, but I think that Snake and the streamers that they have completely controlled and have done an excellent job of controlling the narrative on this and using good words and kind of their PR machine to really damn Barcode and Black Rose for this in a major way, where if there wasn't this type of tension between these two guilds, I don't think it would have had this attention. The streamers wouldn't have been all over it, and they wouldn't, you know, exploit and kind of these marketing terms a little bit. So I think that's a huge part of it. And that's now that opinion is basically everybody's. And if you're on the other side of it, right? If you're on the other side of it and trying to defend it at all, that's a very unpopular opinion now. You know, so it's kind of not allowing a larger debate to happen because the message was so controlled from the start. If that makes sense.
Okay, Rezlar, how do you feel about it in general?
So I see where Tim's coming from, and I do agree to an extent. Like, you can say that it's not the Snake versus Black Rose thing causing the debate, but the thing is that a lot of the top streamers in BDO are like Snake people, like Vert, Mac, fucking Zethian, and like just them streaming the like chest event and like being like, wow, look at these pieces of shit, like that is going to do a lot of influence on just the community at large, honestly.
Okay.
So I do agree that a lot of it is just like the Snake versus Black Rose thing, but at the same time, like, it's wrong and they need to be punished for it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Nayashe?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like the same feel as Rezlar there. I mean, yeah, I get the political side. You know, you do have a lot of the top streamers that are Snake individuals, and they can, you know, shift the narrative if there was a fine line. But I think this is just something that's so clear that it's not a fine line. This is obviously not okay, what they did. And I just don't think political elements really have a play in this. I don't think it really matters. I think the community's pretty, you know, solidified on how they feel about it prior to Snake even, showing it. All they did was just show them do it in action and, talk about their disgust of it, which, yeah, that's,
Right.
a narrative. But at the same time, when you just see it, Snake isn't making them do anything. They're not spinning anything from what I can tell. There's really nothing to spin for them. It's
they're
only
not
just
spinning, but they're pushing.
They're pushing, but
Right.
yes, correct. They're pushing.
Yeah, but I mean,
but that's not
by just showing something, I mean, that's like just exposing what's actually happening. I wouldn't call that really pushing. It's just like,
it's just
Well,
a
but
piece.
ask yourself,
It's a part of the.
But ask yourself, Nayashe, why are they pushing?
No, that's fine. You may be right, but it again, like the thing is, like I don't even know what the point of getting caught up on that is when the fact of the matter is that there was something wrong going on. And the other thing too,
that's what I'm getting.
The other thing too, why I feel like the pushing and the Snake versus Black Rose narrative is kind of overblown, is because screenshots of what people were getting from the chest were coming out way before Black Rose did it. Way before Black Rose did it, and the conversation was already happening on like Joe Never Fails stream, Potion Shop stream, before Black Rose and Barcode had their big event, before that was streamed live. And it was already like, should we do this? Should we not do this? This thing is going on. I hear this person might have done it, this person didn't, like so on and so forth. Like,
I think to add on to that is just people they were in disbelief on how bad it really was until Snake really showed it.
And sure, maybe Snake's agenda is they hate Black Rose. Fine. But that doesn't really change anything, at least for me. And like, I don't know if, I don't think the narrative, I don't think people
in terms of the exploiters, no, it changes nothing.
Right. I'm just saying, I don't think people thought it was okay, and then they saw Huntler's stream and were like, wait a minute, it's not okay. Huntler's right. You know what I mean?
That's all I was basically getting at. It was like, if there was a fine line, I could see that. But.
There are people in Black Rose that did not participate. So
right. Yeah. So the point I'm just trying to make or get out there is how convoluted and insane this is. Right.
Yeah.
Because Black Rose and Barcode did it in such a I mean, this is such a weird. Normally, it's like, if you're willing to have sex for money, you're a prostitute, right? So you go up to your friend, you go, "Hey, if I gave you $1 million, would you sleep with this person?" Yes. Okay. Well, you're a prostitute, right? And so if you're willing to do something, then you are something, right? But this is an event and a thing where like quantity is like one of the biggest parts of it. Instead of just like, hey, if you do this a little bit, is it okay? Yeah, people probably won't really have a, hey, I got a free account that I haven't really leveled up. Let's throw it in the guild and grab some extra chests. I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. But it's to the sheer degree that they did it. And that's what trips me up, is that just doesn't work with the way my brain works. I want to just go, if you do it, you're wrong. If you don't, you're not. But it really is just so convoluted with the Snake versus Black Rose, the publisher's responsibility to manage things, the relationship that this game has with exploiters in general. It's just the streamer shit going back and forth. It's all of this stuff is just made this into just a clusterfuck. So I completely agree. Once I saw what was going on, right? And the Snake guys are out there or whatever, it doesn't matter what guild they're from. Once I saw it, I was like, holy shit, this is bad, right? And so they definitely did a service by streaming it. But I just, again, to all the drama I've been living with, because, I have close proximity to Joe, and he's definitely been kind of the poster boy of this. I'm a little close to this in a way that I can be without actually being in the guild, right? So there's a little emotion there, and I just, again, all that stuff put together just makes this insane.
Right. What were you gonna say, Russ?
Definitely.
I was gonna say, if you want to get off of the Black Rose and Snake thing, like you said last week, Frosty, like there were more guilds doing this than Snake and Barcode, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I bet you the reason why Cacao is kind of like half like walking back what they said is because they're like, fuck, where do we draw the line? Because that's like a hard question to answer, really. Right. Where do you draw the line? Like, show me the line on which people in which guilds were doing incorrectly and which guilds weren't. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's going to be a really hard thing for them to find, honestly. And I
Because
think that
quantity is part of the sin here. Like I was saying
Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
it's not just did you do it, it's how much did you do it.
And
It
I
really kind
think
of makes you guilty.
to me, that's where to tie it back into what we were talking about, that's where the Snake versus Black Rose comes in. Because Snake went out of their way to stream like Black Rose doing it so that they would have avid proof, so that they could say, look, Cacao, look at these guys. We know you can't do anything about anybody else, but here we are watching these kids clearly abusing this. We have all this evidence from people leaking stuff inside the guild and stuff. You have to do something about it. And I think that's where the politics comes into it, because I really think that the whole thing with Snake going out of their way, streaming, watching it happen and all that stuff, it wasn't to like raise awareness or anything like that. Like you said, people already knew about it, but it was purposefully so that they would have video evidence that they could send Cacao and Prolobis and say, these are the people that are cheating that just so happen to be in this guild that we don't like and have to compete with for like top guild or whatever.
Right.
Why did
I think that's
stop?
where the politics comes into.
Right. Again, I don't doubt the motivation. They're not friends, but again, like, I mean, even then, it made it exponentially bigger when it was being streamed, but it was already being talked about by every guild on the server prior to those videos. Like, it already was a thing, you know. And so I don't think that it was like 100%. Like, I don't know. It just feels like this weird, like, well, but Snake is just trying to do this, so we shouldn't appease Snake. And it's like, fine, that it may upset someone that this has an ancillary effect of like Snake wins, right, in some weird way, but at the same time, it doesn't change the fact that the guilds that aren't Snake also don't like that this took place.
Right.
If that makes sense.
What I can't, and perspective is something I try to constantly put myself in other people's shoes, right? So let's pick out Jackie Felix just as an example.
Okay.
He's in Black Rose, he streams, you know, he's well known, he puts out YouTube videos, etc. And so you hear this thing, you're gonna make some silver, like Joe says, hey, I've been gone, you know, come make a couple billion silver. There's this event, we figured this out, come join. And he goes, all right, cool. So Jackie Felix does it, he goes out there, there's thousands of people, like ostensibly 10,000, couple 10,000 people see this, right? So there was what, 3, 4, 5,000 concurrent with all the streamers that were streaming it,
right?
And so they do it for hours. If I was in that position, I'd go there, I'd see what was happening and be like, yo, this is fucked. I'm out. This is not right.
Right.
Well, I can't understand why those people stayed there. I don't understand why Jackie Felix stayed there. It just doesn't pass the test of logic.
Right.
So if you're dumb enough to sit there and stream it happening, and you have no sense of, hey, this is really fucked, then I think you deserve. If you're gonna be dumb, you better be tough.
Was he specifically?
I would have walked up and walked away. No, he wasn't streaming it, but he was there, like the whole time.
So that's one of the other things too that I feel like is a little bit like a red flag in the whole thing, because I know there's an argument to be made, like, well, they told me about this thing, it's a lot of money, I was going to go, I didn't think anything of it. And it's like, well, I'm not going to call any specific names out, but there were at least 7 or 8 people that regularly streamed during that time that all had their streams off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's
and
a
it's just like
fishy then.
Yeah, I don't know. So I think everyone, I don't think claiming innocence is, I do think there's people out there that probably are. I'm not even going to say in Black Rose or Barcode, but I can imagine in a smaller guild, like let's say my guild was doing it, right? And we're like, all right, we're trying to get people in, and then randomly some friend just gets invited. Like, hey, dude, like these guys are doing those chests. Remember the Afuaru chests? And you get there like, all right, I'll participate, not even thinking about it. And then you realize like, wait, like 30 minutes in, how many do you guys have? Yeah. Like I could see like maybe there's people like that, but yeah, the people that were there at the Barcode Black Rose one are not those people, yeah, at all. So, and the whole, there's a lot of steps you have to take, right? You have to, with the merking and the vacationing and the making accounts, and there's a lot of steps. It's not like you just stumbled upon your friends doing some chests. So, I don't know, man. It's damning. I don't think anyone should be permanently banned. I'm not there at all. I think 7-day, 30-day, depending on the varying degrees of how bad it is. I do think I agree with you guys' points. It's super difficult to say, like, what is the line? If your guild did 30 chests, is that too many? If your guild did 15, is that too many? Do you need to do over 100 for it to be too many? That's really, really difficult and a tough spot for Cacao PA to be in. But I don't know, man. I think a lot of examples I keep hearing is like, well, sea monsters got away with this. Piloting, people that pilot get away with this. People that did the wolves hunting got away with this. People that did the matchlock exploit on sea monster hunting got away with that. But the thing is like all of those things are compounded making this worse because all of those people got away with it, and people are kind of tired of it. People are tired of people getting away with it. And I think that's making it even more intense, or people being more like up in arms about it, especially because now it's so publicized. And it's like, dude, if you're going to let them get away with it now, when it's not even hidden whatsoever, then I guess you're just allowing cheating, and everyone should be able to do it.
It does put them in a bind of sorts.
What is
Okay,
that?
so
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Okay.
Hold on.
Make your point.
If they are going to do bans for this, which I think they should, then they also should start doing things about all the other things people do, like speed
That
hack,
would be the argument.
Yeah, 100%. That is the point I was making.
But are they going to?
You mean like retroactively go back?
No, I mean going forward.
No, going forward. Yeah. No, I
But are they
completely agree
going to?
I have no idea. I don't even know if they're going to do bans for this.
Because
It's
that's
so
like,
hard to
dude,
get somebody banned in this game, man. That's what I was trying to say earlier.
If they set this precedent, they're kind of setting themselves up to have to do more work on this, and I don't know if they have the tools to be able to do that. And so I think that should really give them kind of some pause about how they react to this. And I think putting that announcement out when he did, hindsight's 2020 for sure. I think they had to say something and definitely stop the maps, but it's kind of set them up for a much more complicated. And again, that's why I've brought all these different layers and facets up, is that the more you dig into this, the just fucking crazier it is.
Yeah. I mean, there's some I'd like to mention though, because what you said, Tim, earlier is about you don't know if Cacao's GMs and whatnot have the power to actually, or the tools to deal with this, and that could very well be true. I mean, I don't know anything about their whole hierarchy, so to speak, but I would feel that Cacao actually has authority over this because we are Cacao's customers, not Pearl Abyss's. They're the publisher. So I would feel that in that instance, this is more of a Cacao cleanup issue, not a Pearl Abyss issue. Even though Pearl Abyss designed this unfortunate loophole, so to speak, to be able to abuse this, I view this as more of Cacao's customer related problems.
But like that makes sense.
That is the way it should work.
Yeah,
that is the way
exactly.
it should work. Unfortunately, it just isn't.
I mean,
we know for a fact that
like
Pearl Abyss does not let Cacao handle things on their own. Like, we know that.
Well, but do we know for a fact that Pearl Abyss has their hands 100% in like fishbot bans and hacker bans?
We don't know. But you can bet your ass if Pearl Abyss had a problem with Cacao banning those people, those bans wouldn't happen.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm pretty sure that's Cacao.
What we can extrapolate is when they ban people, they have to have a serious, well-documented, infallible case, and it's probably a shitload of work.
The irony about that, though, is that Pearl Abyss is way more strict when it comes to all this shit. And they seem way more like trigger happy when it comes to bans on other servers that Pearl Abyss is actually publishing for. So it's
right, but NA especially is their cash cow.
Sure,
would you say
I mean, we know that for a fact.
But again,
it seems that they have a strained relationship.
Yeah, they definitely have an estranged relationship. No,
there you go.
Even with that being said, then they should be even more active, because like the thing is like when you ban or when you let people get away with cheating, it disincentivizes people from spending money on the game. Because it feels like eventually it's going to turn into Blade and Soul, where there's a line of 550 bots walking in a circle in a grind spot blatantly, and nothing's being done about it. Or
I mean, goddamn, have you been in Histria?
Exactly. Sheer ruins. Like, that's what I mean. Like, that is worse than like, well, we don't want to ban them because they spend money. It's like, Okay, but you're kind of shooting yourselves in the foot long term.
Yeah, you're gonna prevent more money over time.
Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know that. I mean, Cacao probably is going to be slow as fuck. Like, I actually would be surprised if we know for sure if they made a decision on anything in the next like 2 weeks. It'll probably take longer.
It'll probably be a month or two before anything happens. I think, honestly.
If they don't,
every
if
day
they don't
that goes
answer,
by, the less chance there is that there's an actual action. The follow-up message I lost a lot of hope. I'm like,
What do you have that? I haven't seen that follow-up message. Do you have the follow-up message?
Yeah, I haven't either.
He edited the original post. I don't have a link to it
post.
actively here.
All right, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, that's got me a little worried too. It's like, I don't know. It just
for the
means
record-
any event, people are going to be trying to figure out ways to exploit the fuck out of it now.
Yeah.
Well, they already do, but just for the record, just to set the record straight in case anyone is confused in the stream or listening to this after we're done recording, everyone here is in agreement that these people should be punished for abusing this system.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody disagrees with this sentiment. So before you type your baby rage comment about how we're defending cheaters, everyone here is in agreement that something should be done about this.
So I do want to talk about, and I don't want to make these personal. I'm going to just mention names and the examples of what was said and to try to help make my point. But I do think there's another element of some of the backlash and the rage is a little bit of the arrogance that has, like the blatant arrogance of some of the people. So for example, the Black Rose members that had their audio kind of recorded or whatever, when that came out, when people heard that, it's just like, it just comes off as really bad. So when people hear that, and again, that might be an element of snake propaganda, whatever. But when you hear that,
siege scene, Frosty.
yeah, when you hear stuff like, well, they can't ban us because the siege, or they shouldn't ban us because it'll affect the siege scene. The siege scene's dead without us. Like that sort of stuff makes people hate you and want you to get banned even more. And then you had Joe made the claim, and I still don't know to this day if it's true or who he talked to, that he got confirmation that from a GM or a CM or something that it's okay, that it's not an exploit in any way, and that it's totally fine. So then you have like, now you have two sides. One, you have people that are like, well, you lied, you were wrong, and now I hate you more for it or whatever, right? And then you also have the people that potentially were his friends or believed him that took a chance, like, oh, okay, they said it's fine. My friend says it's okay. Now I did this, and now everyone wants us banned. Like, what the fuck? This sucks too. And then you have like another side, which is like Potion Shop, who says that this was the intended use of the event from the get-go, which that argument's hard to stand by.
Yeah, that's a hard one to make.
So I'm kind of curious your guys' thoughts on those three things. The recording, kind of Joe's initial stance. I know, Tim, you said you know Joe a little bit, so what is the deal there?
I mean, he's not lying. That I can tell you that for 100% fact, right? He talked to somebody at PA, and the messages that, I mean, he quotes the messages. He quotes on his stream the response that he got from this guy, right? No, there's not going to be any bans, right? So that is the response from the person he got, right? And so this is kind of my point of view, being close to Joe a little bit, but also like kind of playing this game for 4 years. Remember when Lucaria came back to Siege in Valencia, and like thousands of people watched him dead, spinning on the ground because the desync and the lag was so bad?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Cacao Games went, well, like 4 days later, you're getting new servers. It was an Oprah moment. Everybody gets new servers. So I think that's what this was, right? Even though it had happened in the past, it was a different set of circumstances where I guess they underestimated how insane some people would go after leveling characters up to 59 to get these maps.
Fair.
So maybe they didn't see it. And so then it blows up, right? And all of a sudden, PA's getting a ticket from Cacao going, oh, what's happening here? And now all of a sudden things are changing. And I think that's why it's taking so long to get some sort of confirmation is I don't know the level or the title of the person Joe talked to, but if that is you know, if he's part of that decision-making process or whatever the case is, we can extrapolate that PA did not see a problem with this. And then Cacao comes to him and goes, dude, look. And now they're going, ah, right? So saying that Joe intentionally misled or lied or anything like that, you just have to kind of take a bigger look at the picture of how this all played out to really understand that Joe was just trying to help himself, his homies. I don't think he should ever brought that up personally, that he had this connection and, you know, talking about it and stuff. I wouldn't have done that, but that's, you know, he lives his best life and that's all well and dandy. But it, you know, exactly, it does have a lasting effect on, you know, the Black Rose people. There's a lot of people that really look up to him as this paragon of information, and he does the news thing and stuff. And so it's been a rough week for Joe. For a couple of his, you know, his parents are sick and stuff, and it's been a rough week for Joe.
It's fair.
Nayashe,
would you say, knowing that you've personally, I'm assuming you're meaning you've personally seen the actual email with the PA with the Cacao guy, would you trust him for information further?
yeah.
I think you just have to be careful, right? I've had a connection with somebody at PA or Cacao Games that I got a lot of good insight on how the companies work together and stuff like that. And I don't blatantly like come out with it, right? I try to draw people to conclusions that I know to be at least as true as possible, right? Or just to provide a different perspective. I think coming out as this is it and being definitive because I have this information, this is it, sets you up for the situation that Joe's in.
Right.
It's fair.
I do want to talk about the second step in this whole thing with the maps that I think is kind of overlooked or people don't really think about, because the maps is sort of enough. But one of the means for leveling or of getting the map is leveling up a character, and a lot of people leveled up a Shy, and I'm not 100% sure on the challenge tab reward, but I was told, and I'm not 100% sure on this, so I'm just telling you what I'm told, but there's only part 1 of 2, that you still get a 500 million gold silver for getting to 58 on a Shy. So that's part 1. So potentially, if that's true, every one of these characters has 500 million silver. And then on top of that, this is during the same time that we have the Oasis gear that people can go buy, right? So they can go buy the Oasis gear and finish all the quests to get the free login boss gear for playing the game, which is equal to 1 billion silver. So now you have, let's just say 200 separate accounts that have 1.5 billion silver each. At worst case, only 1 billion silver each, right? So the other thing is, like, all of these items that were made, I was watching the market, because you would think, like, okay, there's 200 people participated in this. Everyone at minimum got somewhere between 5 and 10 of each of the gold accessories. The accessory market had almost no change whatsoever. And I think one of the things that's interesting is everyone could list it for a high price. No one even has to min price it, because they can all just switch to these Shies and buy all of the items that they got, or at least most of them. And I think that makes it even worse, you know. And it's hard to tell who's doing that, who didn't do it, who knew about it. I don't think everyone knows that that's even an option. There's probably people who didn't even level Shies. But
I didn't know that was a thing still.
Yeah, that's also kind of part of it. And it's like a little bit of like market manipulation with the separate account, and 1.5 billion silver on 200 accounts can like make a difference or a dent in the market too. Like, for example, when everyone got somewhere between 300 and 1,000 memory fragments, depending on your RNG or what you got, because you get 5 per chest. And that day, like, you see like 20, 30,000 listed right after, as the chest event's like ending, and then the memory fragment market is completely sold out. Like, all of them were bought. So it's just kind of interesting, like another element to it that I don't know if like if you guys even knew about it or thought about it, or how that makes you feel personally.
That's pretty it's pretty rough.
So it's really interesting, right? Because that's not against the rules of this game to have another account and to buy stuff off the marketplace. A couple of my friends have like the AFK train, a horse, they make a couple billion silver, and then they offload things that are hard to offload. on the market to feed themselves silver, and it's been like well established that that's part of it. So this is kind of where I think I like Potion Shop. I met him in 2018. He's an interesting character, and so I understand like Potion Shop's sense of his viewpoint on this. We'll say that, where he goes, they have 2 events going on. If this is how you want to spend your time to make this money, you're more than welcome to do that, because it is within how the game operates and is set up from the publisher and developer. And then you can take all that money from the Shy, from a permanent event that they decided to leave in, and you can go buy those accessories for max price off the marketplace. Like, I get where he's coming from, right? Because you asked about Potion Shop earlier, but it's like there's things that are technically legal, and then there's things that like if some guy walks into your house and you got castle law and you just shoot him in the fucking head, hey, what I did was legal, right? I thought he was going to hurt me or something like that, but really it just murdered a guy, right? So then the community, will start going, that's not ethical, this is wrong, we need change. And so that's what's happening. And I think that's where Potion Shop is. I don't know why he's fallen on this sword or why he wants to get so involved in this. He's been in Aftershock. We didn't participate in any of this, but that's what he wants to do. God bless him. I certainly don't. I rather be on that team that rather see change and hopefully improvement from this lesson. Well, hopefully it's a lesson.
So, first of all, obviously in this hypothetical situation you presented, this didn't happen in Texas, because if it did, then it would be totally okay. Second of all...
Shout out to Texas.
Wait, a viewer gave me a link to apparently this whole topic was on the Black Desert Online news article. Let me see this.
Huh?
Yeah, I didn't know this.
Wait, read through that, and then Rez, make what were you saying, or what were you about to say?
Well, I was just gonna bring up something as well, another aspect to it that I know people are kind of like, it's kind of hard to talk about because you're literally just shit talking people. But the unfortunate fact is there are a lot of people out there that do not like Joe, and there are a lot of people out there that do not like Potion Shop for various reasons. And it's making it hard to like side or defend with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, that's
what I was trying to bring up earlier is the personalities and the stream personalities and the guild versus guild. And I probably didn't communicate that super well, but all of that just makes this so much more complicated.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. It's hard, man. It's like there are a lot of people, and again, it's like Post Shop. He's bringing it on himself, right? He is inserting himself into this situation seemingly needlessly.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't know, like, why do we care? I mean, I know he's a pretty big streamer, but who cares? Is it just because like people don't like him? I don't know. It's just weird.
It's just the unpopular opinion, right? Everybody saw this thing, the brazenness of the comms, the GVG.
The comms was crazy.
The comms were crazy.
Comms were bad.
It was that was so damning. Tim,
did you see? I think it was Norelio. His reaction to that, dude, he fucking killed me. Let me see if I can find it so that you can watch it. I linked it. I think I linked it in our group chat, right, Frosty Nayashe?
What was it? I
The
don't
Twitch
remember.
clip of yeah. I found it.
Should I play this on the recording?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah, because it's pretty. It killed me. Play it on stream too, Nayashe, so everyone can see what I'm referencing here.
All right, 1 second.
Dude, the podcast is such good RNG for me, dude. I got 2 red shards that hour. That's crazy. It's been a very profitable discussion for me. All right, let's have a look at this. I don't know if the volume is going to come through on the recording, but hopefully.
Well, you know what's going to happen is Aftershock's going to streak on Valencia. That's what's going to happen.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, I was saying that yesterday in your stream. I was like, so you prepared to sit on fucking Valencia for a month?
Yeah.
Currently only one fort built. I'm sitting on Valencia 1 right now, brother.
I'm not 100% sure if the audio came through, but we'll have the clip in. But basically, someone says the siege scene's basically going to die without Black Rose in it. And then Norelio just comes in and just goes, what's going to happen to the siege scene? And just starts laughing hysterically. It's like, you guys just trade territories. No one even fights. So, yeah, it's pretty funny. Dude,
Is that,
I mean,
is that true, Tim? Is that true as a Siege GM? Is that true?
Oh, God, yes. I've been trying to chase down Legatum for months. Are you kidding me?
You know what's even funnier about all this? This week, didn't they put in the patch to reduce the nodes by 30%?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Dude,
now,
that kind of arrogance, though, man, is just leaves such a bad taste in people's mouths. It's just like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. And like, I don't want it's not Sasha's point of view, right? Like, so I want to make sure that's clear. It's just a random member in BR that says it, but it's just like, you know, people hear that this BR guy says it, and you're just like, dude, come on, man. Like, what? First of all, when is the last time BR like legitimately had like a really interesting fight that the community was excited about or rallied around, or like it doesn't even. I don't know. It's just crazy.
When was the last time old Vertex was alive?
Yeah,
I think that's pretty much
it's just it's crazy, man. That's just such a bad, horrible thing to say. I mean, I assume they didn't know they were being recorded, but
yeah, probably not.
I talked to Sasha about that a little bit yesterday, where that was kind of what I used to really enjoy about Black Rose is, you know, their ability to really put something together. You know, they're kind of that last leg of that old Vertex man up, you know, insanity. I mean, that's when Siege was actually awesome. I mean, it was stressful.
The drama
it was so
and everything.
Stressful. I was just Aftershock, right? But we had the Trap Alliance, so we were kind of a player. And I'd wake up every morning, and my DMs would be just lit, right, with Lyreley trying to tell me he's going to kill my guild and kill my dog, you know, and all that kind of stuff.
What? Wait.
Dude, Lyreley's fucking threats were insane. He's like, you will never be able to play this game. I'll kill all of your friends, anybody you've ever met, like just any guild you even look at. I used to meme. I mean, it was almost true. If you said Lyreley in a DM to somebody else, he'd message you within hours asking why you brought his fucking name up. It was, I'm not exaggerating, it was goddamn weird. And so that level of stress, I do not miss. When Aftershock 1.0 died, I remember very well waking up the first morning to my phone not having 20 Discord messages on it. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice. That's why I was so resistant to getting back to doing Aftershock. But it's not like that at all anymore, right? There's no big fights. It's people kind of handing castles off back and forth. We just need more guilds. We need more people willing to put it out there, be a leader, and just stop going from tier 2, and go to Siege. But with the Merc system, I'm going on a little bit of a soapbox here. The Merc system, why be in a Siege guild when you could just fuck around with all of these guilds you possibly want and then go into El Gildo Bionicle on Saturday?
There's another aspect of it as well, which is like a lot of people just don't like Siege right now. Like a lot of people have a lot of issues with like not the guilds or the fights, but literally like the fighting in Siege. People don't like it right now.
I do wonder too, almost conversely to the dude's point in the recording, I almost feel like people would be more excited about Siege if those guilds were removed. I know that sounds horrible to say, and it's not like a slight at them. It's just like if people knew, like, wait, Black Rose and Barcode for sure are not going to be on any of these territories.
Yeah, all the smaller guilds would definitely jump on the opportunity.
Yeah, because even like, I know everyone thinks like, well, why don't you just get 3 or 4 guilds together and 3v1 Black Rose? And it's like, dude, running into a blender for 45 minutes, even if you guys do take down Black Rose, is awful.
Before we move too far forward, I do want to say one thing real quick, and this is probably an unpopular opinion, but the last time Siege was fun was Lakari's Man Up versus Orca's Barcode. Don't at me.
What the fuck? Shut up.
Dude, that
You're
shit
an
was
idiot.
so fun.
There's been so much more fun in the Siege scene since then. Open your eyes, turn your monitor on, pay attention.
Turn your monitor on.
Jesus
Hey,
Christ.
I said it was gonna be an unpopular opinion.
No,
man.
it's not unpopular. It's stupid.
Yeah, I don't
love
know,
you,
man.
Riz.
I've never been on board with the whole Siege used to be fun back in the day, and I mean maybe like in these last few weeks it's been a little bit dull, but I still think over the last year there's been a lot of moments where it's been pretty cool. And drama
But
between
that's-
different guilds. The Vertex Vexus drama was really cool, and their fights were fun, and like the drama back and forth there that led to node wars,
Yeah.
and then there's been some stuff. It's just. And then I also think back, like every time we glorify the old days, I just am like, wait, Snake was on Dire for 44 weeks, and Manup was on Valencia for 54, and yeah, that was fun, man. That was awesome times.
Yeah.
Really exciting Siege scene.
So it was a dull Siege scene, but it's a sandbox, right? So the community got together and went, "We're fucking done with this," right? So I said this on my stream a couple days ago or yesterday. It's all blending together. That this is a sandbox game. I think it was partner Discord. And if you choose to turn your sandbox into a cat box, that's on you. If Black Rose is bored with the Siege scene, fucking do something about it. I get bored with the Siege scene, and we fucking do something about it. I start a Siege guild from scratch. I get in there. We cause drama and issues and problems, and we drop places just to get zerged out, just to give content, right? And so we're out here trying to make Siege as much fun as humanly possible. And we do a pretty damn good job with it for just kind of being up and starting. What have we been sieging for 3-4 months, something like that? So this is the most fun I've had sieging. Bar none.
Dude, the only reason you guys are even allowed to play is because Hex is dead and they're not there to stop you, motherfucker. All right? I'm kidding.
Wait,
I'm sorry, who?
Dead? Is it?
I'm sorry, who? Damn.
That's all right. They'll be back next week to die again.
Yeah, they'll be.
I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. I think they're permanently gone.
Frosty. Oh well,
You use your 9 lives, huh?
I don't. I was gonna say something, but I'll talk to you after.
No,
I'll
ask
talk
me.
about it on
Let's
the
hear it.
podcast. No, because I'll accidentally shit talk people I don't want to shit talk. So I'll
Okay.
do it after the podcast.
It's all right. You can apologize
rat.
later.
All right. So mapping is bad, and it's ruining the Siege scene. That's the conclusion.
That is the conclusion.
So what? Like, here's the thing. Here's what I'm curious about what you guys are gonna think. And I know we've kind of touched on this here and there as we've talked about this topic, but what do you guys think is going to happen?
Right.
Tim, go.
Not what we think should happen, but what do we
Not
think is
what you
actually
should
going
happen.
to happen?
What? Yes. What if you had to put money down right now on what is going to happen regarding this whole situation? What is going to happen? Tim, go.
I think a select couple of people are going to get a 30-day suspension. I think they're going to remove the money. If they can multiply it, then they will. I think a large amount of people will get a 7-day suspension, and most people will receive none. And the more time that goes by, the less. I think we may be outside the window of a 30-day ban already, but the more time that goes by, the harder it's going to be to get this passed through.
Yeah, my thought is a little bit similar to that. If I'm Las Vegas and I'm setting the odds and I'm trying to make as much money as I can, my money is on literally nothing will happen. If I had to bet my life on it, if it was like what's going to happen, something or nothing, I legit would lean towards probably nothing, even though I strongly think something should happen.
Yeah, I agree with that. I may just be being optimistic, right? Or my
Yeah.
own vision. If somebody put a gun to my head, I'd probably go nothing too.
Yeah, if something does happen, it'll probably be only a small portion of the people that participated, and it won't really be that bad. It'll be like a slap on the wrist to show, like, hey, see, this is wrong.
All right, Rez, let me set this up for you. Life or death. Pick one.
Yeah, he's gonna kill you with a Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, that's. I'm 100% with Frosty. I think that especially after like if they went back and edited their original statement, like that to me is them already starting to walk back what their initial claim was. Now, I have no doubt that obviously this isn't going to be a thing anymore. They're not going to bring it back. But I honestly would be surprised if Silver even got removed out of people's accounts. in all honesty, because I think that the more they look into it and the more they figure out how to enact justice, I think that they're going to be like, we don't know how the fuck to do this. And so ultimately they're going to decide to do nothing because they feel they're going to be like, we don't know how to figure out who was the people that deserve 7-day bans, who deserves 30-day bans, who deserves no bans. We can't figure that out. So we're just not going to do anything in order to save our skins and not wrongfully ban people. I think that's what's going to happen, in all honesty.
Yeah. Nayashe?
Yeah, I mean, them editing that post is going to make it look more and more like they're basically going to be like, oh, yeah, nothing happened here. Here's a new event, guys.
Yeah,
Don't let
No
it slide
maps
this
included.
time.
No
Next
maps
time,
included.
you boys better not do anything. You know, I think that's
Yeah.
something
Also,
we get the lazy parent.
before we move on from this topic, I do have to complain just a little bit.
Weird.
The fucking ineptitude of these two companies to figure out that this community, who has exploited every single thing possible for their own benefit, that they did not see this coming.
Yeah.
Seriously, did they not learn anything from Shadow Arena? Did they not learn a thing from Shadow Arena?
I mean,
Preach, dude,
realistically, they're going to probably make the map thing a standalone game, and that's
Yeah.
going to be.
Bank treasure chest. You could buy it through Steam.
They
for
wanted to see how
$4.99.
popular it was.
Dude, I can see it, man. That'd be a
But,
fun
like,
game.
dude,
That's good.
dude, I just can't fathom it. Like, how did nobody say, hey, by the way, every time we let there be free accounts, people exploit it like to the max. Maybe we don't. Maybe we just think about this for like a second, and think about how if this is possible to abuse these events in conjuncture with one another.
God's mouth, from your mouth to God's ears, dude.
I'm just saying, if they make this, some sort of weird standalone game, the consistency is real. Anything that has been hacked or exploited, that's the direction they're going. They're just taking it out of the real game.
You haven't played their digging simulator.
Digging simulator.
Yeah, you haven't paid.
It's a mobile app too. You can buy shovels.
You haven't played the
Shabby
game where
shovels,
you
dude.
pay someone else to play Black Desert Online. That's my favorite.
Hey, that's
standalone
BDO
game.
Mobile, dude. BDO Mobile
Yeah,
is
it's
the
BDO
piloting.
Mobile. Yes.
The piloting simulator, dude.
Is that the PC way of calling that now? Is Pinoy out of date? Should I not be saying Pinoy
Yeah, it's
anymore?
more respectful to say
piloting.
pilot. Yeah.
I'm
Although
probably
for
going to
some-
keep saying Pinoy.
For some reason,
If you say it one more time, I have to leave.
For some reason, piloting reminds me of Dr. Positive, because whenever he's casting BSL, he always describes like, oh, if it's piloted well. So I'm just thinking like Dr. Positive is literally grinding on all of these accounts.
Yeah, Tim, if you really want to leave, man, you can go ahead. We already got our drama. I can put you in the title. We're good, man.
Yeah, you good. Dude. Later.
Is this copy strike button again? I forgot.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Man, it's crazy stuff, man. Probably nothing will happen. That's my guess. What do you think the reaction would be if there were, let's just say they took 15 people that they felt like these people were the most egregious. They somehow could prove that these people participated in the maps. These people were arrogant about it. These people had made a separate account. These people tried to manipulate the market on that separate account, like the whole 9 yards. They got proof that all of it happened, and they permanently banned 15 people. Not saying they should do this or will do this, but what do you guys think the reaction would be in the community if some people got permanently banned?
See ya, Jackie Felix.
By Time Bomb and a moo, you will be missed. No, I think they have a solid defense. Corona made me do it, so there you go.
Corona
Or
made me do it.
What about a
you?
positive? What about a positive punishment? Like, what if it's like, all right, we went through on these accounts, we don't know the best way to punish them. So what we're gonna do, anyone who participated in 30 or more chests in the last 28 days, will not benefit from this buff, but everyone else gets 100% drop rate buff for 3 weeks.
No, the community wouldn't be happy with that.
Yeah, that's a thought.
I
you know?
mean,
That's such a
it's-
Resler idea.
Maybe they
Holy
could
shit.
give us.
Yeah.
Maybe they could give us extra relics when we fish.
So I have a question for you guys. Here's my question, because as as we've been talking about, like the hardest thing to do is how to dish out the punishment, right? How to figure out who's guilty and who's not guilty, that sort of stuff. Would you guys think that it would be right if Cacao and PA said, well, the one thing we know for sure is all the people, all the family names that were caught, like in the Black Rose like chess scheme, they were definitely exploiting, and those people are going to get banned. Do you think that that would be right?
And they name everyone.
Well, I'm
know,
not saying you name everyone, but like
they won't name it in US.
they-
They only
they-
did NKR because that's how they do.
they have video proof, right? Like we all know, like Black Rose wasn't the only guild doing
Well-
it, right? But we do have video proof of all the people that were in Black Rose that were doing it.
Right.
Literally streamers watching them. So if Cacao said we can ban these people because we know for a fact that they were abusing it,
Well,
should they do it?
I mean, the premise for me doesn't really make sense because it's like really all the video did is shed light on the issue. So it's like the people can prove to Cacao that this happened. You can't tell us it didn't happen. You need to do something about it. Cacao already can prove it without any video evidence. I mean, they can see where items are generated from and how many of them are generated and all that stuff. So it's not like
No, but I'm saying in regards to where you draw the line on who was abusing and who wasn't.
right.
Well, here's what
If
I'm
you
really
say if you say Black Rose was the most egregious offenders, so the people that were caught in the Black Rose day of running chess on
Right.
stream, we have their family names.
Mhm.
Because they were the most egregious offenders, we're going to use them as an example and ban them.
I think people would be upset and that would be stupid. I mean, I actually don't even, like, if I really think about it, people are probably going to get mad at me, but I don't even think it's that hard to find a line. You can just go prior to this, like, event, just go through, like, every server, find out, get numbers on, like, on average, how many chests did new guilds do that actually had, like, newer returning players. And it's probably somewhere between 4 and 30 chests over the course of a month, like, at most. So you literally just take that, maybe double it for some cushion. Anyone who did more than 60 chests, you were
Disagree.
abusing, period.
I agree with putting the punishment on specifically Black Rose and Barcode merking into
You're a
each
Snake
other's
fanboy.
guild.
You're a Snake fanboy.
I am.
Just
I sub to all of them. Tier 3, I love them. They're my favorite. So I think because I think it was Dash the Kid, you know, a longtime friend, and known rat, but longtime friend. He was just like merking into guilds, and like a couple of them had like, you know, tier 2 guilds or tier 1 guilds would have like a couple after Node War, and he'd be like, oh, bet I can stay for after these. And so he ran like 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 or something like that. Right. But it was honest. It was just like, I'm here for these Node Wars. And so I think the punishment is really going to have to kind of come through in the way of these guys were brazen. It was egregious because of the 99 people going on vacation and them coming into it, the amount that they farmed. If there's another guild that they can dig into and find that really did something to that effect, I think the heavy merking in, I think the running, you know, 100 to 200 at a time, that whole planned brazen idea of it is what needs to be punished, because again, it's the quantity and the setup and the market manipulation, and it's just this perfect storm. And it's the stream, you know, the streams and the stuff on there. So I don't think they're going to really be able to do anything outside of Barcode Black Rose, because it's, and maybe that's part of the pullback on this response is they go, holy shit, you know, how do we qualify this? How do we quantify this?
Well, there's at least one other guild that did over 100 chests the day before or 2 days before. So it's not.
Do we know the name?
What was that?
I don't want to talk about it because I'm not 100. I don't want to say for sure which guild it is because I don't know which guild merked into which when they did it.
Was it Siege
But it was
Guild
not
or
a
no?
Siege guild. Not a Siege guild.
Oh, then who fucking cares?
Really?
A dead guild. A dead guild. Yeah, so I think like those ones too are probably not too hard to find, but I don't know, man. Yeah, it's, I don't know. It's crazy.
Camel?
Camel. It was Camel's GM, dude. How do you get that C20 gear?
American Express Black Card.
All right. Should we move on from chests and maps? We got some guest questions.
Yeah, I think we beat the dead horse.
So we
Quite
sometimes do a little
quite a
guest
lot.
question segment, Tim, where we ask the people in the Discord to ask some questions directed towards you, hopefully. And
this should be great.
I'm gonna go ahead and read these to you and see if we can get some some insight into your life. So Star Chief just puts a dribbling face. That was
Yeah, he thinks I'm really attractive.
Mm-hmm. TimAllen 1337 wants to know why you're so shit.
Oh, dude. How much time do we have?
KYU, I think this is the first real question, says, I just want to say, really proud of Timmy and what he's done with this round of Aftershock. Leading is kind of what he wants to do personality-wise, and being a member in other guilds didn't seem to be working. I gotta think of an actual question, though. Def talk about the Node War changes, ask him what he'd do to make Node War and Siege more excited. Rate every Siege guild based on their leadership personality.
Jesus.
Good luck.
Jeez.
Actually, let me pull this up. This is I think I have your Discord at the actual bottom of my list. Give me a second.
Wow.
So rating Siege Guild based on leadership's personality, that's a tough one. There's strengths. I'm not going to try to rank them. There's strengths and weaknesses. I think maybe it's just some interesting points that I've seen is Corrupt with Erica leaving Corrupt, and a couple other key people, Norelio leaving Corrupt and stuff. Dragoon, who I did not see. You want to hear my Dragoon impression real quick?
Let's hear it.
Snake is actual dog shit. We're gonna crush these fucking kids. They're all actual shit.
Pretty close.
That's pretty close.
Corrupt is actually amazing.
It's a lot better than Frosty's Joe impression, that's for sure.
Oh god, that was bad. Don't ever do that again. Anyway, so he has stepped up with shot calling, keeping the boys together, all that kind of stuff. Where when I was in Corrupt, he was around, but he was really just kind of a member in his own guild. I was an officer there for a couple of weeks. I think all I really did in the officer chat was post pictures of me looking for mayonnaise in my refrigerator. But there was a lot of officers. It was a little congested. Erica did a lot of work, and now Dragoon is really visibly doing a great job with that. So high marks there. I think Vertex, the new version of Vertex, is really interesting. Evenson's version of Vertex is way more political and kind of playing the game, kind of maybe back to the roots of, Vertex 1.0 that we used to see. So I think that's kind of an interesting point in how that guild is kind of developed and stuff. Snake's leadership is basically be kill builds and everybody does what they want. I think that's my understanding of that guild. What others? Legatum is on their last breath. FML is interesting. I think FML and Filter I'm too close to them to really make comments. I think so. Filter, we can talk about Filter for a second. I don't know what to say. I wish they'd get off Serendia, but I understand why they want to stay. And I think it's interesting that they're able to just sit on Serendia and keep 100 people entertained, and they always show up with 97, 98, 99, 100 people on Saturday. That is one of the most impressive things I've seen in this game in a long time. It's hard. They've got a really tight community over there. People want to be in Filter, and that really comes down to the top bottom, leadership. So I think that's one of the most interesting guilds in the Siege scene, is just being able to sit on Serenity and keep 100 people happy.
All right, and then the Node War changes that I guess we could do both the 5,000 HP in Siege, 500 HP in Node War, and then the recent changes where they reduced the amount of nodes and made shit more expensive, so sniping's more difficult. What are your thoughts on that?
They need to make it more expensive, but reducing the amount of nodes helps for sure. Increasing durability on annexes was genius. Just really needed to happen. It'll be interesting to see what the 150% extra durability on Siege nodes is going to be. That kind of takes out axing CTG, or maybe go for pen axe,
Jesus Christ.
So we'll see how that plays out. That's going to be really interesting tonight. That's a lot of durability increase.
Yeah,
But
it's
as
quite
far
a
as
bit.
reducing the amount of node wars, that's great. If I hear one more person say they should add nodes to Kama or Drigan or these other territories, build a node once in your life, and then go take a look at these
At the
territories.
terrain.
Yeah, and just shut your fucking mouth.
I mean, I'm with them on the idea because it'd be cool to have something different, just change it up. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The terrain would be fucking AIDS.
Awful.
It would be, but I'm with. I mean, I don't think they should just add nodes, but I do wish there was some sort of like a season thing where like Medaya was taken off for 3 weeks and that amount of nodes is moved to Drigan for 3 weeks. I think it'd be fun. It'd be fun to fight there. Like, imagine where Necropolis is. Like, I know there's like hills up on the top, but just make that whole region not. It would be fun, dude. Come on.
My head is literally hurting.
Then don't build, dude. Hire a builder. God damn it. 5,000 HP. What is your thoughts on that in Siege?
Cut it in half. Remove the wound mechanic.
Okay.
You don't like the wound mechanic?
No, it's too. So from a Balanos Serendia Siege Guild perspective, it's too much, right? So Filter's sitting there with literally no bonus HP, and so they can't go to Castle. They're stuck. They're actually stuck. They'd be worthless if they went to Castle because they'd have half the HP as everybody else. I don't like punishing success. I understand the spirit of what they're doing. It was really just for Snake. Let's be honest. It was for Snake. And so they're running around with 1,500 HP. And so that makes it interesting because now they're on Medaya with 1,500 HP, even though fighting Snake on Medaya is not fun. If you've got 3,500 more HP than them, it could be, a plausible fight. But cut it in half. You still get the time to kill that you want, and just remove that damn wound mechanic.
Right. Orikami asks, are you excited about the new zone? What do you feel like the chances are we'll get new war nodes? And he's referring to Odalita.
0. I think there's a 0% chance we'll get more nodes. I have a little PTSD over Drigan because Drigan was so bad. Hopefully this zone is great and has some more new interesting grind spots. They've done a pretty good job on the PvE side of things in the past year or so with, Nayashe is grinding whatever the fuck that place is called.
Tortuga, yeah.
Yeah. And they've made other things viable. You can make, crats on the S rank. You can make other, you can go to trees and make 100 mil or 115 mil in trash if you advance loot scroll and stuff. So there's a couple different options instead of just everybody pissing on each other in Hystria, right? So I think there's a good chance we get good grind spots, and I am hopeful of that. But it's hard to forget Drigan.
Shazar says, if you have any questions you'd like... Oh, wait, who is this? Oh, regarding Siege Team Twitch recently exploiting anything else, write them out here. Wait, what? Who even is that? The fuck? Q says, what are the 3 most important qualities for guild leadership? Tim doesn't know that.
Oh, great question.
Tim doesn't know that. Q, what the fuck?
Yeah, chat, can you help me out? Because I'm lost.
Hold on, let me PM Sasha.
Tim, do you want to phone a friend? Yeah, I know, right?
Wait. Frosty, text Adam real quick and ask him, please.
Oh my god. Is that what fucking guild you're in?
I hear Hiki's coming back. Oh wait, you're in Hiki, Rez? You said you're in a weeb guild.
I just left my guild actually, like literally 5 seconds ago. So.
Oh my god.
Yikes.
You're trying to get a PvP trail, homie?
No, I'm not. I'm trying to get decks, but none of the officers were ever on. So
You missed the map guilds, dude.
Time to go to Notorious, dude. They let everyone be an officer, so you can just deck when you want.
I'll probably just join Sinfui, TBH.
Your chat says alcoholism.
Alcoholism, dude. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. I'll drink to that. So
I'll drink to that.
Organizational skills is probably the best. Delegation, right? Delegation is probably the number one thing. If you try to do too much or not enough, there's that perfect balance or that you're constantly striving for. Your ability to hire fire, right? Finding good officers. And so that all kind of, for me, falls under delegation. You need to be personable, and you certainly need to have the time. That's been my biggest struggle with Aftershock, is with all the personal stuff going on, trying to balance streaming and other jobs and stuff like that, along with being there for every single node war and stuff. I really had to there was a delta a little while ago where I had to go, I have to be the guildmaster. I got to be around more often. I have to show up to pretty much every single war, and I have to make this important because it is important to me. It makes me happy. It, definitely benefits the stream, all that kind of stuff. So time is probably the second biggest thing for leadership. Delegation's the first. And then just being likable. You have to be a leader, right? You have to be somebody that people want to hang around with when you're the GM. And I think that the red box actually matters. I know there's a lot of people that have, unless you have an alt account or something, but, somebody else is the red border, but you're the leader and stuff like that. I think that has a psychological effect that doesn't really resonate. I think a leader should be a leader, and that's important. And I think that's one of the biggest things that's wrong with the Siege scene is we need more. we need more of me. No, but we need more leaders, like actual leaders that want to step up. And then that gets into the conversation of what's the incentive? Why would somebody go into Siege? It's dog shit, right? So,
Madashi asks, I'm going to condense this a little bit, but basically the issues with Balnos Serendia guilds where you basically are building up members, getting stronger and stronger. Then once people get to a certain gear score, they basically leave the Serendia Balnos guilds to go to castle guilds. How has that been for you guys specifically? Is it a problem for Aftershock?
Not at all. When somebody joins with too much gear, you almost know that there's a ticking time bomb on that that's not a real member. And so what we like to do is really, I rather invest in somebody who's undergeared that shows potential skill and desire to grow. And so the loyalty that builds is insane. When you actually have a community, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. And there's guilds that aren't communities. Aftershock 1.0, all of that core are still playing together. They go to the same guilds. They went back to rehab or whatever. I think almost all of them are at GVG now. They all stay active and play together and all that stuff, right? So that was a community, right? And so you're going to have people that split off. You're going to have people that try to snipe your top players and shit like that. But it's a sieve top to bottom. You can't really worry about gearing people up and them leaving, because if that's how it plays out, then something is wrong with your organization and you're failing as a guild leader or an officer team.
Ashen says, what are the dumbest and smartest moves tactically that you've seen on the battlefield, and what was the result of them? And then he also asks, was there ever a hero moment that one person has done to change the flow of battle, either on your side or against you?
One of the dumbest things I've ever seen, I actually was a part of. I think we're in I think I was in Vertex. I've been in so many damn guilds. And Fyron, the leader of Vexus, called for us to do a horse charge down the middle of Medaya Castle against, I think it was Snake. It was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. And then corrupted it like last week or something too, just like as a meme, and it almost kind of worked, but it just horse pushing into the middle of a castle is so fucking stupid, but it cracks me up. As far as hero moments or great strategies, it really, the drama really kind of makes that, right? Like I think when Norelio called for a CTG on a Valencian siege when his base was at like 1 or 2%, and they give Barcode the corrupt special, and they actually axe them down before they die. I think that's one of the best moments of the siege in recent memory. We have a specific player in Aftershock who will get 10 kills by him or herself and literally starts up pushes almost every single time. So those hero moments are very often in our guild. They're an excellent player. And so we try to play off them fairly often. And so, and you have to prepare for that, right? Every guild has a couple of carries and that you can rely on, and you look for it as a shot caller and you play off of it. Some guy just goes in, and you just got to go in after, right? So I don't know if that's necessarily what the question was, but that's how I'm going to answer it. So get fucked.
Barek says, I heard on a podcast before that in Korean guilds, or that Korea guilds use rangers because of the high range damage. How come NA and EU is not pushing for rangers to get geared? Because all I see on Reddit and server chat is that they are looking for witch zards.
Witchards.
Witchards, yeah, it's witchards.
That's an excellent question. I mean, maybe NA hasn't been hit by a succession descending current recently, but it's tough. I don't think there is an overemphasis on witch and wizards. I think PA is always going to be Pearl Abyss loves protected area. I mean,
yeah,
it's been years of all of us coming up with really shitty ideas. I think the last time I was on this podcast, Reslar came out with just some real brain dead ones.
Oh, yeah, brother.
But so PA is here to stay, and I think everybody wants at least half their guilds to be witch wizard, and that's siege ults and all that kind of stuff. So, but I completely agree that the ranger and descending current is super undervalued in NA.
I just miss front lines, man.
Yeah.
I miss having having a line of striker, mystic, warrior, Valk that actually is tanking. Rhino says, can you talk about how merking works in your guild? How do you find them? What are the requirements? How many do you bring each week? Additionally, do you think the merc system should be changed to be more restrictive?
We just beg Chonation as hard as we possibly can. So merking is kind of part of the community aspect of the guild, where people come in, for node wars and stuff. They go, oh, it's fun to be an Aftershock, and you start getting messages. People that just watch the stream or whatever will be like, oh, I want to play with Tim, or I want to partake in this next week. And so that's where a lot of it builds up, and then the Discord fills up, and you get a roll, and then you go, bleh, you guys want to join? And so recently, as guilds start to wane and dodge fights and stuff like that, merking for siege is kind of a balancer right now to make sure that one guild doesn't overpower the other one. And so we try not to zerg people out, or we certainly don't want to be zerged out ourselves. But as far as restricting it, it should be for siege, obviously, speaking to siege, should be 10% of the maximum number of members in your guild, of the number that round it up. So if you've got 94, you get 9 mercs for siege. If you've got 95, then you get 100. I'm sorry, you get 10. You get 10.
I say no matter how many members you have, you should be allowed to round up to the nearest 50 mercs. You know what I mean?
What?
Standard dude, what the thing is that sucks with that, with not Aftershock, but merking in general,
the thing that sucks with Aftershock.
Well, the swing in power from week 1 where you join with mercs to week 2 where you're basically non-competitive without your mercs is like it. I don't know, man. I hate it. I feel bad for guilds that have to try to defend their rotation if they don't quite have 100 members yet, but I also feel bad for the fact that they have a hard time participating if they can't bring mercs,
You feel bad for them?
Well, I mean, bad in the sense that, like, for the members, not necessarily the leadership, because they're making that decision, but if you're a member, let's say you're a newer player and you just want some good PvP, that first week feels good, right? You're like, oh man, we did it, we won, hell yeah, we have a territory, this is so cool, and then the next week you just get slaughtered by the same guild you fought the week before. It's kind of a shit feeling.
Also, in my experience, merking in Aftershock is you get told no, and then like an hour before siege, you get told yeah. So then you swap the channel, and then they're like, "Oh, never mind, we're full. Get fucked, idiot." That's my experience merking in Aftershock.
Hey, guess what? Choice has more gear than you, idiot.
Damn.
That's
Damn.
true. And
I'm
better
pragmatic,
latency.
buddy. Sorry.
He's also just a better player.
Sato says, a lot of the time in Node we're in Siege, I feel like I keep dying for nothing and have no idea what to do. What are the things an individual player can and should do to contribute in large scale, like getting kill or peeling out our ranged players? Second question, do you think Siege is getting stale with just a few guilds holding the top position? If yes, what should PA do to help the weaker guilds in the Siege?
I actually was going to have a similar question for Tim, but yeah.
So let's start with the first one. How can he be more useful in large scale?
Mm-hmm.
My initial reaction is listen to your shot caller and die on the ping. But if you have a shitty shot caller, or you're playing kind of a fringe skirmish class or something like that, get into RBF like heavy. Take your ghillie off, get into RBF, and practice. Then, when you realize that, hey, I suck at fighting Sorks, you get into the battle arena, make a friend if you're capable, and fight a Sork over and over and over. And then when you're done with that, go back to RBF and then figure out how to translate what you learned about that class into RBF. So personal skill, big thing about that, right? And then when the call to go in on the ping is, it's like, go here, everybody dies right here. Maybe not just like die exactly on that ping, but like know that you're moving towards that objective that's being called out and move off to the side a little bit, stand over here. Maybe you've got a gear carried ape in your guild that goes in first, play off of his knockdowns. That's one thing I really tell Aftershock time and time again. Is play off of knockdowns, friendly and enemy. Help your friends who are knocked down and then kill the people that got knocked down. So that would, without more specific information about what guild you're in or class you're playing or what your gear is like or something like that, that's probably the best advice I could give, generically.
I like to add in minimap awareness. Look at your minimap. Your minimap will save your life way more than you think. And then the second question, is Siege getting stale with the few guilds holding the top position? Should PA do something about it?
So this goes back to it's a sandbox, and if Siege guilds want to decide to turn it into a cat box, then that's 100% up to them. I think the wound mechanic hurts. I think what the Siege scene needs now is a reason for FML, Aftershock, and Filter to go to the castles and just fuck around on Calpheon or something like that. But we can't do that with the wound system. Somebody has to win Balanos or Serendia, and there's money attached to it, and there's a good reason to own Balanos and Serendia. Just even outside of monetary. But the ability for a Balanos and Serendia guild to go to castle and the reward for it is Monka S, right? So think of a completely empty Balanos and Serendia. Now you've got tier 2 guilds going, oh, we could just get it for free, right? And that's kind of the first step. That's how I started the Trap Alliance, or the first version of Aftershock when we started getting into Siege. It was actually free. There was some crazy castle shit going on. And I'm just like, hey, what if we just Node War on Saturday? And so that's what got me addicted to Siege. And so the influence of the developer to help, there's been a lot of really good ideas, like maybe add a 10% grind buff over the entire map if you own Balanos or Serendia. Adjusting the wound mechanic would certainly help. But top guilds are going to be top guilds. They've got a ton of gear. There's people with C20 armor out there and weapons and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not a big fan of punishing success, and especially in a game that has so many mechanics to be able to knock them off. You can go knock Snake off if that's what you want. If it's boring to you that Snake is on Medaya for 5 weeks or even 1 week, and you just want to go, Snake never gets on a territory, then go do that. I think a lot of the Siege scene and the people who look at the Siege scene kind of divorce themselves of personal responsibility within a sandbox game.
Shazar asks, did you notice any change with the recent Node War Siege scene? I play in EU T1 medium hard node, for example, and normally on Friday our 25-man was 3 to 4 guilds. With the change, we're now on the both remaining 25 mediums on Friday, 9 forts each, so drastically more fun. How is it for T2 and above? Then he also asked, how do you think in general about the change, good, bad, or do they leave something out?
I've been grinding history all week, so I have not been able to play with the node. I can't mark out or be a part of it, so I don't have personal experience with it, and I really haven't been paying attention. I've just been grinding, so I'm gonna let that one slide.
I can I'm gonna piggyback off the question though, because I normally we either are in a 1v1 and there's 3 other sticks for whatever reason, just on Node War. So I'm just in like a normal like T2 Node War guild. So normally it's like we 1v1 or there's 3 guilds and we 2v1 whoever and then 1v1 after, or it's just us and sticks or whatever, right? It's kind of shitty. It's actually like seldom that we get a good fight. But the 2 nodes that we played since the patch, on Thursday we had 3 guilds, all like quality guilds that actually bring members. So we actually had a legitimate fight. And then on Friday we had I want to say 6 guilds. It was like Cho Nation, Bassi, Galaxy, Notorious, Clash Alliance, Devour, and Cozy were like all on the node, and it was actually really fun, even though I hate that Cho Nation was there. But yeah, so it's kind of interesting. It looks to be more crowded, so I think fights are going to be more fun on Node Wars for a while.
So Clash and Notorious are in an alliance, right?
Yeah.
Can I ask
Apocalypse,
why
they call themselves.
Why isn't the name Clatorious?
Oh god.
I have no idea.
I mean, you want to talk about shitting the bed. That's just like the dumbest thing I've ever heard, not naming it that.
Right. And
definitely a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
As for like the changes, good, bad, or whatever, I think he hasn't participated in Node War since. Plus, I think he addressed it a little bit before it was Siege. So
I think Node War forts should cost more. I think they should cost like 200 million, maybe 250 million. Especially with them being worth 30% more now. They should really just up the ante on that sniping mechanic. I hate it so much. I've hated it for years. So it's a step in the right direction overall, but I think the actual fort itself should, I don't
cost
know,
more.
Making the annexes cost more doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but making those damn forts cost, just Siege cost 500 million, or 750 or something like that.
Yes, make it not worth it.
Yeah, really twist the nips on that.
I agree. So Sato says, third question, there are 2 very infamous siege guilds in SEA, Southeast Asia server. Long story short, they're basically one guild split into 2, and sometimes, not always, they would fight in the same territory, which results in a huge number advantage against individual guilds that can't find an ally. What do you think of this type of behavior?
I'm sorry, repeat the last part again.
What do you think of this behavior? Basically, it's basically one guild split into 2 that both have near 100 members, I guess, that plays together for Siege, but they're actually just one community. How does that make you feel?
I'm just at the risk of repeating myself. If you don't like something that's happening in the game, you can't just go, this shouldn't happen, because they've decided that this is what they want to happen. So they went out and did it. So if you don't like what's happening, go do something about it.
Right. And then Eumenidai says, thoughts on the recent drama. Is the community over-exaggerating, or is this drama justified, or he says justificated? I like that word. And more important, is it an exploit? That's his part 1. I'll get to the others after you answer that.
Okay. It's I don't think it's, I think it's I don't know if it's overstated. It's dangerously close. Again, we beat that dead horse into the fucking ground, but it's bad. I think the word is abuse, not exploit. But I'm really not gonna, Thomas Jefferson this too hard.
How is the
I think it's good that it's getting all this attention, though, because it's opening up a larger conversation and hopefully putting more pressure on our publisher to be more stringent about exploiting and abuse as a whole.
Yeah. He says, how has the Siege scene changed since the last time you were on the podcast?
Well, like 4 guilds have died, right? So, I mean, it's just right now, and I saw this kind of coming because I can see the future.
That's a scary thought.
It is. Imagine TimAllen being able to see the future. It's this. I look at Siege guilds and streaming in a similar light. You don't have to be the best at either, but if you outlast everyone and you just do a good enough job, you're probably going to come out at top over time.
Yeah. He asked, have you considered posting or having a post-Siege podcast highlights in your YouTube channel? As an EU viewer myself, I tried a couple times to watch some clips from Twitch. Since I don't understand the background behind this, this was my face in every single video, and it's like a little sideways question mark face that I don't know the emote name because I'm a boomer.
So, actually really interesting, and this has been interesting question and timing. This has been something that Joe Fales and I have been discussing when he comes over for LaCroix with the boys. We both kind of talk about each other's streams and give us ideas. And I have been a spoiled brat about the Siege podcast. Honestly, I've put absolutely no effort into it. I've started to resent it. I used to do Reddit write-ups where it wasn't a ranking. I think rankings is a terrible idea. But I used to do Reddit write-ups where I just go, this is what happened from my podcast, from what we just talked about. Here's the stories that are developing. Is Man Up going to go here? Is this going to happen? This is the third week they've been there. You know, stuff like that. Just very factual, informative, and not opinionated as best as I humanly possibly could. So I'm going to go back to doing that. But also as a Twitch partner, like my VODs are up for like 90 days. So you can just go to my, or 45 or something insane. You can just go to my VODs and watch it there. But I am planning to, making highlights doesn't really work because, again, you know, the slanty face contextual thing, you know, the context is going to be the whole time. But what I have done is revamp the UI and added some more interesting things to the podcast, where when you come into the stream, it's here's all the fights that happened, right? I start 15 minutes after the last person, after the last fight, and I collect kill sheets from every single guild that participated, and I put their top 3 fraggers down below in a scroll that's constantly going, like a little ticker. And then I set up the fights visually in the background, so it's not just me standing with a bunch of people waving flags. So you can pop in, you can see what we're talking about, and then we have a contest, which is clip of the week. So if you're a streamer, I'll give you 5 gifted subs if your clip gets voted the clip of the week, or if you're just recording, I'll PayPal you $15. And so it's just like a little weekly gimmick or whatever to get people's content and allow them to be a part, to really take, participate, not just watch, but participate in the podcast itself. So I'm trying to make it more fun. I'm trying to make it more engaging. And I'm trying not to be a spoiled fucking brat about it and just go, people should watch this because it's Siege. It's like, no, it should be unique and interesting, as Joe likes to say. And so he's really helped me kind of flesh some of this stuff out. And I'm going to work on alerts that are non-intrusive. You know, if somebody wants to donate $5 or something, yeah, obviously that helps me. But then their little toxic text-to-speech thing gets to go up there and maybe direct the conversation a little bit and stuff like that. So I'm really trying to push that forward and put it on YouTube. Generally, people on YouTube don't like Twitch content unless it's watered down and highlighted, which I just don't think you can really do. I really don't have time for it to like highlights of the Siege podcast, and I really don't think that'd be well viewed. So, but these are the things that I'm doing instead to try to make the podcast better.
And then Hazy wants me to mention something about Shy, but this is a BDO podcast. I only talk about classes that are actually in BDO. So I did want to ask you, I did want to ask you a question. It's a little bit more personal, but how has the whole pandemic coronavirus thing kind of affected you, Tim, and your day-to-day or life around where you live and stuff, your community?
Yeah, are you working from home?
I am working from home. I am streaming more. Obviously, I've had pneumonia 9 times in my life. So I have a bunch of scarring in my lungs as it is. Honestly, I'm terrified of this thing. So I have been, the only people I see is a girl that I'm seeing and Joe. And then they're locked down themselves. So I went out in public yesterday or the day before, went to Walmart and about had an anxiety attack. It was just a bad idea. So my parents are 65 years old, so I certainly don't want them to get it. They're in good health though. But man, it's affected me a lot, honestly. Been going through a divorce, been trying to run a Siege guild. I'm trying to move this week so I can get out of this house that, I used to have a family in and stuff. And all the while trying to navigate the worst pandemic of our generation of I don't even remember when the last pandemic was historically. So I've been dealing with a lot, man. And this is just, you want to talk about bad timing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's been crazy. All right. Well, on that somber note, so we kind of touched on Node War stuff a little bit. So I guess let's just go around the room real quick. Nayashe, Reslar, have you guys Node Warred? You guys don't even Node War, do you? Either of you?
No, I haven't really Node War in a little while. Okay. Not in a serious way.
Yep.
Well, nodes overall are more crowded, so overall that change is good. And I agree with what you were saying, Tim. I think the price of the forts should be higher. I do almost feel like What is the cost of a fort for like a T2 right now or a T3?
Sorry, my headset died. 1 second. The cost of a fort is I can't hear you. I think 20 mil. It's something really inexpensive.
Okay, so I think they increased it, but I don't remember to what. I have to double check the patch note. But I do wonder if they made it up to like 200 mil, kind of like you were saying. If they have you just have that difference put into like the pot on the node for winning it for whoever gets it. You know what I mean? So let's say like let's say the baseline is 50 mil, right? And 7 guilds place. The baseline is 50 mil currently, and then they change it to 200 mil. So now all 7 guilds are basically putting 150 million silver in the jackpot to fight on that node. I think that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It'd be fun. And then also,
yeah, because Soggy was even saying he thought the 500 mil thing was not a good idea because it would ruin the payouts.
Right, because it would nerf the payouts a bit. But yeah, if some of it got paid back, if you actually won, would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And incentivize more guilds to place. Let's see. All right, let's move on to the Lahn and Kuno nerfs on Global Labs.
Hell yeah! Let's get on that topic.
I'll drink to that.
Let's start with the Kuno, because the Kuno ones are fairly minimal. So they did the same thing they've been doing with every class, where they are removing split damage if it is there. Unfortunately, they're not telling us what exact skills had split damage before, which I wish they did. But for both Ninja and Kuno, they said they remove split damage from pre-awakening, awakening, and succession. Any skills that have it, it'll be noted. I think the only one that Kuno is keeping is Shadow Explosion, which is, I have no idea why they hate that ability. It already doesn't do that much damage. It's insane to me that a skill has this. It still blows my mind that 16-second cooldown unprotected skill with no CC, and it has split damage, and the damage isn't that good. But all right, it's fine. Prime Flash Slash, they're reducing the damage by 21% in PvP when you use the ult. The 100% version. I think, it's just my opinion, I have a feeling this is actually more related to the split damage change than it actually being nerfed directly, because they already nerfed it 2 weeks ago. So I think this is just to compensate. So it's going to be worse if you ult someone in a 1v1, but it'll be the same or potentially even better in like 1v10, potentially. Prime Shadow Clone, minus 22% PvP damage. That's the flow to Shadow Stomp. It's a super armor skill that does a little bit of damage. Not 100% sure why that got nerfed. I don't think it really affects anything. The Ghost Step distance that Kunos get when they use their E-buff has been reduced by 30%. So when they're E-buff, they're not going to be flying around the map all crazy.
Thank God.
It'll help a little bit. And then Prime Dance Macabre, now it's still an iframe while moving. It's still unprotected right at the startup, although the startup is really fast. And then now it's only super armor during the attack. It no longer lingers SA after they land, which probably is a good change. Overall, it'll make you have to be a little bit more strategic with it, but not that big a deal. That's not too bad. So are you happy with these changes, Nayashe, as the house hater of Kunos on the podcast?
I think it's a good start for sure. I have to actually experience it firsthand to really know for sure how it impacts the fight. The damage nerfs that they did, you were explaining it, but I was kind of half listening, to be perfectly honest. I got my food. My woman made me
standard man.
Made me some food. Yeah, the damage nerfs, like I said before to you, like I didn't really necessarily care about the Kuno's damage. Yeah, sure, it was high in some instances, but most succession classes were high, so I didn't really care too much about that. It was the mobility that was the biggest problem. The fact that it only affects E-buff, it's all right. I mean, it's nice. It's a good start. I guess I have to, like I said, experience it to really see how much of that was really the problem, or if it was just like their mobility in general. That was more of the issue.
I have a feeling they're going to stick. It's like they have a little bit of a theme with the Kuno, where it's like this: dive in, try to kill someone really fast, dive out, like fast mobility, but
suicide bomber.
Almost, yeah. Or like you go and pick off 1 or 2 people at a time. kind of thing, and not like PVX fully, because there's not really a whole lot of protected damage, because after the flash slash engage is really difficult. Like, yeah, you could get the stiffness off, but ever since the damage reduction on that skill, it's hard to like follow up if not every single person CC'd. Not saying it's bad, but I think it's a style. Like, it's like a jump in, hit them with something, see if you can get a kill. If you can't, try to dive out. It almost seems like it's style. So, I don't know. It seems like they're sticking with that thing.
More representative of a flex class,
Right.
rather than a 1vx machine.
I do still think the Dance Macabre lock-on thing might still be too much, the range on it, but outside of that, I personally don't think the mobility is a big deal. Rez, do you have any thoughts on Kuno?
The iframe. I don't like him.
Okay. Standard, that's how Zerkers talk, everybody. The iframe, don't like. So
I just want to hug him. That's it.
So if I could interject.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't have enough information to give an educated opinion on this topic. So unlike some other podcasts that are put on fairly regularly, I'm going to not make a comment.
All right.
You're just gonna call us out like that, bro?
All right, Lon. This one is. I'm not going to read
Is
through the
Lon
whole
dead,
list.
Frosty? I keep seeing people say Lon's dead.
These
Right.
changes, I woke up that morning and I'm just like, oh, there's no sweeter justice.
There's a line. All right, so when a class gets nerfed, for me anyway, it's already hard enough, as everyone has known from when we went through the CC changes. It feels shitty when the class that you love gets changed or nerfed in a negative way, right? Like, it's hard. Like, even like the Kuno's reactions, like some of the Kunos I've talked to, I don't think the changes are that big a deal, but a lot are like really upset and whatever. But the Lawn got like, I hate using the word gutted, but goddamn, dude, the Lawn got gutted in the changes. So they lost. I mean, maybe it's a little bit of points to how strong they were, and I just underestimated how strong they were. But I think, like, when I listen to people complaining about the Lawn, it sounded like the biggest things were the flying is too much, because they could get in, they could fly in and fly out, because the forward F, hold it down, has no cooldown. Their damage is really high, and it's protected when they do get in, and they have a lot of protection. So my thinking is, like, it probably will get nerfed, because now it's starting to resonate with the community and people are complaining about it kind of a lot. They'll probably change one or two of those things, but they changed all of them, and in such a dramatic way. So I'm gonna go down the list, Reslar, and you tell me if you were playing this class, how this would feel to you. Okay, they removed 4 super armors. They made it so you can no longer mouse move the flying. You can no longer mouse move Furious Chase. They removed super armor specifically from Salpuri Purge and increased the wind-up time.
Wait, you can't mouse move the flying?
No.
What?
Yeah, they made it so you can't mouse move the flying. They removed Salpuri Purge SA. They removed the super armor from the end of Blade Dance. They removed super armor from the beginning of Crescent Barrage, or rather the second and third hits. Now it's only on the 4th hit. They doubled the stamina cost of their Phantom Dance, which is the side dash, little iframe that they can use. That's an iframe when it's off cooldown and super armor on cooldown. Well, not doubled, but they increased it by 100 stamina, which that adds up quickly when you're using that a lot. And then they reduced PvP damage kind of across the board on 1, 2, 3, 4 skills. They reduced PvP damage by a minimum of 18%, maximum of 27%. On Blade Dance, Crescent Barrage, Blooming Netherflower, and Salpuri Purge. So, yeah.
Yeah, they
So basically, they did to Lon what they've needed to do for Sork for months.
I wouldn't say they need to do all that. So.
I do, dude. There is not a class. There's not a class in this game that I felt like needs that list of nerfs, dude. As strong as any class.
It's really bad.
Have you guys fought like really well geared and like Succession, Lawn, and large
Yes.
scale?
Yeah. No, they are really good. I agree. They needed to be nerfed, and probably significant nerfs. I'm just thinking about all of it combined is a lot. There's a lot of nerfs.
Yeah, so okay, so to answer your question, so I am generally not a fan of nerfing everything at once. Like, I don't know if you remember when they did the ninja nerfs that finally brought them down to earth. I actually said I didn't like that they did 2 big nerfs at the same time, because now you have no idea if 1 would have been enough and 2 maybe would have been too much. So I don't like that they did so much all in one patch. In my opinion, balancing needs to be, we touch it a little bit, and then if that doesn't work, we have this extra thing that we can try next. And you just keep adding things or taking things away until you reach a point where you're like, okay, yeah, I think we're pretty all right with where this is at this point in time.
Mhm.
So I don't like that they changed so much all in one patch. Also, I know that a lot of people disagree with this, but mouse movement is actually good for the game. It's good for PvP. It raises the skill ceiling on a lot of classes. Not every class, I'm well aware, but on a lot of classes it does. And so the idea that for this specific class, we're going to take away mouse movement on these specific skills, I actually really hate that. Like, I really hate that.
Hey, Rez, can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah, sure, go ahead, man.
How old are you?
I am... Fuck, how old am I? 24?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to ask you a hard question. I'm almost 33, which makes me about 60 in this game. Fuck mouse to move. Get that shit out of here. I can't figure it out. The people are teleporting but staying in the same place, and you got to put your mouse by your legs so you remember where it's at. Fuck all that shit. Remove all these high APM things. Let's just have a nice boomer-friendly game.
Right,
So
dude, let's all just play Black Desert Mobile.
Isn't that what Succession Zerker's for?
Yeah, let's just reel this in a little bit, you know? Let's just reel this in. So I'm all for taking some.
Well, there's this thing called Succession Wizard. It basically plays the game for you, I've been told. And it's really OP, apparently. So you can play that if you like it.
When you told me you were 24, did you take your shoes off to count on your toes? Is that why? Jesus.
Hey, I'm also almost 33, Tim. Look at that.
I am 33.
We're mature adults.
Out of curiosity,
y'all need to fucking respect your
respect
your fucking elders, man.
Tim, out of curiosity, have you played since launch? I don't think we ever asked you.
I got my 4. Ironically enough, the reason I did not quit this game, I've been playing for 4 years to answer your question, and the reason I started when Maywa came out, so it was 4 years, like 2 weeks ago or something. And Maywa was the reason that I didn't quit this game. I started with like Sork, went to Warrior. I didn't understand Sork at all. I went to Warrior. There was no fucking damage. I also had no idea what enhancing gear was. And then I played Maywa, the new class, and it was so beautiful and it was so cool and it was fast but still strong. And so I played Maywa. That's what got me to stick to this game.
Nice. Yeah. Well,
so wait, did you play when Red Moon was iframe?
I didn't even know what an iframe was until like 6 days.
That's fair. That's fair.
No, I never played a game like this before. Right, so it was Reddit release. So if Red Moon used to be an iframe, then definitely, yeah.
So
I played Maywa until,
the reason I was asking that is because I've actually played since launch, which means I've played for longer than you. So respect your fucking elders, kid.
You sound like you're like no taller than 5'7".
Damn.
I'll have you know I am 5'11", 6 feet on a good day. Just tall enough to not get a girlfriend. What's up?
Dude.
Yeah.
They also changed Zerker Succession stuff, but I know Rezlo doesn't want to talk about that class.
So 5'7".
Wait, Zerker has a Succession?
They what else? Oh, Mystic got a bunch of Succession changes too that are actually really good. If anyone plays Mystic, they made a Crouching Wolf way less shitty. It'll only use 1 stack in Succession now and give you the 20% attack speed buff, which is kind of nice as long as you have Flow Prey Hunt off cooldown. And then they made a bunch of flows and stuff go together a little bit better. Changed the knockback to a knockdown on Hidden Claw. And that's about it. And then, yeah,
so
Lana's dead.
Is Mystic actually good now? Or is it still bad?
I mean,
I think it's getting
going to be
closer.
better. Yeah, it's getting closer, and Striker got some changes on their succession too. I really think the big thing is Mystic needs something that is kind of like Spiral Torpedo in their succession kit that it's missing. And then both Striker and Mystic need Rage Hammer to still have a bound for them to be good. It's weird that they don't.
Yeah.
Outside
I mean,
of that,
that's their like get the fuck off me move, basically.
yeah, that's their like they try to bait you and then they use it and get you, and like if they don't even have that, it's weird. And the damage and the AoE on those skills is really cool. Like the Striker one lets you, if you use it after flash, it's actually like a leap punch, which is pretty cool on the ground. And then the Mystic one is just like a bigger, fatter AoE, but since it doesn't have a bound, you can't really use it. It's kind of dumb. I mean, it's the other thing too. Like this is my problem with the Salpuri Purge change on Lahn. I really hate this idea of the succession version of a skill is worse than the absolute version, so you don't take the succession version. Like
Warriors
that
have
should.
that.
Yeah, Warriors have it. Meiwa has one. Lahn has one now. Striker, Mystic have it. It's just like it's so bad. It just shouldn't.
I don't
like
think
that.
it's bad. I think it gives a decision, right?
Well, if it was just different, but it's like literally just worse. Like in some of these cases.
I think Frost is more or less just getting at like if it was like they were equivalent in power or what they offered utility wise, and you just chose one or the other for either aesthetics or just more pleasing to your gameplay style, then that's fine.
The Warrior one is
when one's just so vastly superior than the other.
The Warrior one is ground slam, right, or smash?
Yes,
and it's the bound
smash.
But the thing is like, is the damage difference even big enough for you to justify not having the bound? I don't even think it is. I'm pretty sure it's barely any more damage.
Don't think it is, but the bound is just so quintessential to PvP for Warrior.
Like, so for example, with Rage Hammer, if a Mystic had the option, like, all right, I can hit you with Rage Hammer, doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but has a bound. That's option A. And then option B is the AoE is way bigger and it hits you like a truck. So even though it doesn't bound you, you don't want to get hit by it. Then that would be kind of cool, but that's not how Rage Hammer works. It's like, it's shitty damage in both kits. It's just one of them has a bound. So it's like, there's no point in ever getting... I agree with you, Tim. There should be an option. I like the idea of an option, but the way it's set up right now, it's like not an option. You have to go with the absolute one.
So there's not like a world where you don't want... I don't really know the kit for Succession Striker all that well, so I'm going to speak a little out of turn, but I can see a place where like you wouldn't want to bounce on Rage Hammer, because I almost never use it for a catch. Mm-hmm. For me on Striker, I use my neutral game is really strong in weaving the super armors when I played Striker, and I almost never used it for a bound, and it was almost annoying to me in a 1v1 situation when I'd hit that bound, because I really rather hit him with a stun with mass or a float with somersault or something like that. So I don't know. I might use it. I could, but in a 1v1 scenario, and then I go to large scale, I'd probably click that off and go absolute.
Right. Yeah, the Salpuri one is crazy because that one's even different because both of them have the float. It's just the Succession one has no protection, that's hard to justify when the absolute has super armor. In large scale, especially, like, I don't know, you'd basically be using Succession one to grind with and the absolute one for PvP. Just means
what I'd really like to bring up is the quality of life. Like, I don't play Witch Succession because if Nayashe stream snipes me again while I'm playing Succession, I can't defend myself. I literally can't defend myself. And he's such a big piece of shit that he won't just leave me alone and let me grind and get to my stream. I'm not even being toxic. Like, fuck you, kid. But like, I can't just swap over to Awaken and put that little rat in his place. Like, I just have to like go to a safe zone, swap everything over, and at that point, it's been 15 minutes, and his guild forces him to channel hop, and he's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last part's toxic, but like, if I could, even if there was a cooldown to it, right, where I could just swap back and forth.
I think they should have a loadout system. Yeah.
Ah, God, it would just. Yeah. It would make.
I don't know why they have
so
it.
Much better.
It would just be so beneficial for the game overall.
Yeah.
Like, just to have your predefined skill set up is what's wrong with that?
A click of the button that switches your skill add-ons back, your skill spec
Your
back,
UI,
puts
everything.
your cooldowns back where they were. Everything would be so nice. Like I feel
like,
bad.
why?
Like
Why not do
Sammy
that?
on Ninja. Like Ninja's Awakening literally just can't grind. It's so blatantly inefficient on Awakened Ninja to try to grind Starzen or Secret. Like it's just not viable. So they have to use Succession for PvE, and then if they prefer Awaken for PvP, they have to switch in town, switch their add-ons, edit their UI, change their cooldowns. It's like such a pain in the ass.
What
I feel
ninja
bad.
would prefer Awakening for PvP?
There's a lot, dude.
Is
7
there?
Arts,
Well,
Sammy.
only if they prefer it for PvP, will just say fuck it and bite the bullet and just
I get
PvE
fucking deleted on Witch by Succession ninjas and Kunos, and I can handle the shit out of an Awakened ninja. It's honest. This is my point of view.
I think it depends just on the ninja. I mean, I think Awakened Ninja is a little bit more difficult. So yeah, for like players that are not as privy to mouse clicking Shadow Stomp, they're probably going to stay in Succession and do really well because they hit super hard. But yeah, they should have a loadout, man. The loadouts would be really fucking nice.
Yeah, I mean, not to say that people aren't already buying that moon book or whatever, but it would just make it so much more attractive for people because then they would just be like, well, fuck, I'm going to be switching constantly between PvE and PvP specs, so might as well just buy a moon book to help out with that.
Right. They also they buffed Guardian Succession, which I think is okay. No changes to Awakening. I know Maywa's everywhere want Guardian Awakening changed.
I think everyone everywhere wants Guardian Awakening changed. Let's be real. This shit is actually insane.
As long as Joe Never Fails is in my guild, I don't want him to touch a thing.
That's true.
305 AP, baby. That thing claps.
Wait, did he drop Black Rose?
Yeah, he's an Aftershock.
Oh, nice.
Look at that, dude. We're breaking news here live on the show.
Was that before or after the maps? Asking for a friend.
I'm sorry, I have him muted. Did he say something?
They added a bunch of guild missions. There's bartering guild missions. There's new gathering guild missions. There's milk gathering guild missions. That's kind of good for people that want to do that shit. Kind of just makes doing those things an added bonus. People get milk anyway, right? Don't people farm for milk? It's like pretty efficient now.
I love milk.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad at all.
Dude, my cat is literally just sitting here meowing, being annoying. I don't know why. Let's see. Anything else in here that I'm missing?
Feed it.
He ate already. No, I don't think so. Just quality of life shit. So. Oh man, lawn is fucked though. There were starting to become a lot of lawns though. It was slowly becoming super, super popular. Potentially too
flavor
popular.
of the month. I mean,
yeah,
back to Guardian you go.
All those Sorks re-rolling on, dude. Now they're going back home.
You mean back to Maywa?
For life skilling?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We
Hell
need
yeah, brother.
faster gatherers, man.
Oppression for gathering is great, honestly.
It is. It really is. Unfortunately, on Succession.
All right, so all we got left really is the YouTube comments. Tim, did you want to stick around for the comments? Totally up to you.
Yeah, I'll interject some toxic shit every once in a while.
All right.
Fantastic.
All right, here we go. Let's sort this.
You got them, Frosty, or what's up?
Yeah. Sort by newest, and here we go.
Well, Frosty found out Maywas can't read.
Maywas cannot read, dude. Oh my god. He's like, that's why when Maywas say we have no mobility, it's like they actually haven't read Chase. Cry says main problem with removing S block from Sork is that literally no one uses it. All right, that is a lie. A lot of Sorks use S block.
What?
Yeah, that is. Nayashe, do Sorks you fight ever use S block?
If they do, they're usually dead.
Or they're out of stamina already. Carson's not.
Well, I mean,
S block against a Maywa because they just turn their mouse around and just like that. You just zoom right behind.
There's situations.
Yeah.
I mean, they use it when they're out of stamina usually.
I specifically target the blocks the frontal guards, all the frontal guard abilities, if it's active block or not. I target all of them when I'm fighting a Sork, so...
Right. It's usually a sign they're out of stamina, which is kind of like a tell. Like, oh, this dude has
Either
no
that
stamina.
or like in between some valuable cooldowns, but yeah, definitely.
Kenichi Sai says, Yo fam Steve, when? It's on Reslar, dude. Reslar's a Zerker.
I mean, I tried to get Steve in, but I think he's a little busy.
You guys don't get a lot of call from me in the comments, huh?
every podcast, there's at least one. Noble Ninja says, my questions for Frosty or really anyone that knows Sakuno. Do you think the class is balanced right now? The class seems to have great movement, but next to no protected damage, making it extremely difficult to play in Node War. Do you think it needs buffs or nerfs? If so, what would you change about it? I personally, I think with the current changes coming, it's fine. Maybe just remove the distance that Dance Macabre goes. Yeah, you don't have protected damage, so you have to play differently, but I still think it works. It's probably rough in Siege. I think a lot of Kunos go Awakening for Siege, but it's alright. I think it's alright. Yeah, a lot of like Cho Kunos stay Awakening for Siege. Just that spin, like when you have super high DP and that spin's actually healing you and dealing out damage.
And it heals you, yeah. I can see that. That actually can be pretty impactful.
Yeah, I would.
It's not like it doesn't do minimal damage either. It's actually pretty strong. So
I would change the max range of Dance Macabre down, and personally, I would lower the cooldown of Shadow Explosion, but that's more for PvE. Small Dick Stole Your Girl said, "I think people should duel for spot." But that being said, if you're on a loot scroll, it's just a lose-lose situation for if you win or lose, and if they're a Sork, rip loot scroll, about to have a 10-minute fight, and also who are they to tell you pretty much destroy your loot scroll so they can grind when they're not even the one, I don't know, got mixed feelings about the whole thing.
Well, you don't own a grind zone.
Yes, you do.
Just because you're on it.
Oh, yes, you do. Well, they can flag.
Also,
that's the thing.
I would think of it like that time you're spending dueling them to hold your spot and whatnot. That's built into what you can expect from your loot scroll. Unfortunately, it just is what it is. I do not
just karma bombs, dude.
I don't like the mentality that people feel that because they're there first, they own it and then they get to keep it.
I don't think that's the mentality, though. I think the mentality is more I'm already on this spot. I don't have. You have some. I don't have. I have something to lose. You do not have something to lose. So yes, they don't own the spot. But if the person wants the spot, they can flag up and attack you. But the whole I'm gonna sit here and do this. I mean, I actually don't mind dueling for spot. But my problem with the duel for spot is this: is someone comes up, duel for spot, you beat them. 3 minutes later, duel for spot, you beat them. 3 minutes later, duel for spot. All right, now
I've never had someone come up and do that.
Do go grind Star's End.
I do. You know I do.
Star's End is if you're on non-Arsha Star's End, you get a duel for spot every 5 to 10 minutes.
Also, you mean other people? I thought you were saying another person.
No, yeah, different people come up and ask. It's so contested right now.
I mean, yeah, sometimes it's happened on stream too. A few times where I'll get a couple duel for spots in a row, but usually. After a couple, usually people start backing off. Where you have the problem, though, is when I bring them to BA to actually duel for a cleaner duel environment, and then someone's fucking takes your spot while you guys are out dueling. That shit's cancer. Because then you're just like, all right, bitch, I literally just defended my spot. You either have to ask for a duel or get the fuck out. And they're like, I was here. I've been here for 4 hours.
Dude, that's the worst.
Okay, dude.
Do you do the... Go ahead.
I have a macro that says it's okay, I'm a streamer, and then I just keep grinding.
Yeah. Do you do Nayashe, when you go to BA, do you do the I always type, all right, best of 3, no E, no Z?
Best of 3.
R?
No, I just say best of 3. You want to use whatever you want?
Nah, dude, fuck
but
that. All right,
that's why I go to BA. There's no V in that.
There's not no V, but no Z, no E, no absorption or all. Here's the problem. Why I started.
I look at it this way, and motherfucking this fucking April Fool's event. I swear to God.
Mm-hmm.
I got 1 Ogre Ring, 2 Tungrads, and a Crescent. They're all blues.
Idiot.
Well, no, I look at it this way. It's all in the sense of kind of practicing open world PvP for me. So I kind of just enjoy the challenge. But yeah, I get the incentive of not having E buff and Z buff because it's like, okay, dude, like you're obviously powering up so that you can force a win through. But
if you're gonna practice the open world thing, then you don't go to BA, right? You fight amongst.
Well,
the
only reason why I would do that, I don't want to lose a fucking 300 mil crystal just for a duel for spot.
No, see, my thing is,
it's open world. It's open world. It just is what it is.
I fight a Zerker. First fight ulted. Second fight Q buff, and I'm like, well, all right.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's pretty lame. But I haven't actually ran into that kind of problem before. But with my classes, maybe a little bit easier to defend against that because if someone like a Zerker Q buffs on me, I'll just outrange them for 30 seconds, wait, and come back.
What about a Tamer ult when you go in for like Stigma?
Tamers? I just arrow them.
If they ult you,
what are they gonna do? Eventually, they will be open, and I will catch them.
I know, because your class busted, dude. All right, Dancing Sword says down smashes are a broken concept. Why does every ranger down smash me an infinite amount of times?
Preach.
Tim, you have strong feelings on this?
Didn't they just change rangers too?
Just it's Q buff. It's everything.
Cap the goddamn down smash.
Yeah.
Stop the oppression.
Yeah, I don't mind down smash but in and of itself. But yeah, I don't like that you can be down smashed unlimited times. It should just be a one-time thing. Like if you get down smashed, then you can't be down smashed again for 10 seconds or something.
I would love to have a conversation with anybody who doesn't play Ranger or Zerker about down smashes because they are too close to the trees to see the forest, and I don't.
No,
respect
I
their
actually
opinion on it,
agree.
I don't care.
My other thing too, just to segue into this.
That's how I feel about all grab classes too.
I wish resistances. I don't mind resistances again by themselves, but if I land a CC, if someone is CC'd, the resist should go out the window until they are not CC'd anymore. If you're stiffened, stunned, grabbed, on the ground, knocked down, bound, the next refloat should not be resistible. That's just my personal feeling.
Nope, you're wrong on that one, brother.
No, you're a witch on that one, brother. Okay, you're too close to the forest to see
linear.
the leaves.
No, it's then the combat's too linear. When you know that float is 100% going to go through, you just turn your brain off, right? That's boomer BDO to a millionth degree.
Well, if your float's off cooldown, or if your combo, if you execute it right. I mean, it's hard. I don't know. Dying to someone because of RNG is so stupid to me, especially if they already got CC'd.
Yeah, if you want a prime example of that fucking horse shit, you can just play on trial characters. It's fucking AIDS, dude. It doesn't matter how perfect you play. All it takes is one moment where your CC fails when you expect it to just go through, and then game over.
Just reset, man.
Well, sometimes you're in the middle of a combo and you just get caught out because the time you do the CC is kind of tight on the timing. And that's just the way it is with the combos.
Yeah, some classes is really hard to just... Like, if a witch commits to a refloat, like, their attack speed is a lot slower. They're not going to be able to just react to it. Especially if you caught them with, like, a teleport voltaic, and then you go to refloat. The bound is super short. Your teleport's now on cooldown. You're fucked if they don't get refloated. They just get up and grab you, most likely. I don't know.
Just position better. I would never put myself in a position trying to refloat somebody off of a bound where they could get up and terrorize me, and I don't have a problem with that. I think it makes the class hard, right? Bounds don't last very long. That's fine. We don't have a ton of CCs in our kit on top of that, unless we pull our staff out and get crazy. But it's always a risk versus reward, and I think that's what I enjoy most. I used to do a ton of 1v1s back in the Striker days, just constantly. And I loved it. I loved the fact that the fights weren't linear. The catch and the kill, there was always a chance that something was going to get resisted. What I don't like is warriors ignore grapple resist passive. I think that's crazy. Yeah, that's nuts, man.
Them and Zerkers,
Yeah, I was about to say sweats and Zerker.
Yeah. Hey, your Striker Awakening grab had it too, all right, Tim?
Oh, I never use that. Idiots use that.
Pandemic Comanche says, Afuaru, I am very upset about this. Not mainly because some people got some more billions more. The main problem I have is it is very clearly a mechanic designed for newer players to get into the game, and specifically to get them into guilds, which in the end helps out guilds, and you have more people on guild events, node wars, or just in the guild that can enjoy the time and game together. That has to be very clearly to to everyone. I'm reading exactly as he typed it. He said that has to be very clearly to everyone, and to go and fuck that up just because you made some more billions is so beyond selfishness that I really hope it gets punished for that one reason alone.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to this is why we can't do nice things. Like, they make this really dope event for new players and to try and get people to join the game. And I think, Tim, you were complaining about this as well, is like, this game is constantly, like, losing people. I mean, every game does. People quit all the time. And you need to bring new blood in. And so events like this are really good at bringing in new players that, you know, wouldn't check out the game otherwise when you make the game free and then you give them a bunch of rewards and shit. And so it's annoying whenever they do these types of events to bring in new players, and then the veterans are fucking themselves and each other just to get some extra cash because they're so selfish, basically.
And here's the other thing too, that Joe and I were talking about this the other night, liqueurs with the boys, is that, you know, Kakao shelled out a ton of money to have streamers highlight this game recently, and it worked. It really worked. And so right off the heels of this massive investment, you know, we're seeing a ton of new players come into chats of streamers all over the place. Even we're all talking about this drama, right? Joe's like breaking down right at the end of his stream, and then there's somebody going, "Hey, I've got 190 AP. Where should I grind?" Right? So
it's like, can you hold on to that, please? Yeah, and just answer my question.
And I'm even getting more of it too between my streaming and excessive drinking. So or screaming and excessive drinking. So the fact that, you know, on the heels of all of that and that huge monetary investment, and then on the other side of it, you know, is this enormous exploit that really takes a wind out of the sails. There's so many people going, "Wow, I'm so disappointed with the siege scene. It's hurting the siege scene, whether they ban them or not. They're important or not. The politics of it. It's hurting how this game looks." And all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, I think that's one of the biggest reasons that Kakao really wants to bite down and put some punishment on this is, I mean, they just wasted a ton of money because this happened.
Yeah. Caliver says, would permaban the GMs of guilds involved with large-scale chest farm, asset removal, negative balance, and a 4-week suspension for anyone else?
Nah.
West J Finn
I
says,
mean, it would be the ultimate punishment during this whole pandemic situation going on.
2 to 4. Yeah, just have them do an indefinite ban where when Corona's all cleared up and people can go back to work, they can play the game again.
Imagine having to play a league that long. Oh my god.
Right.
God.
I heavily disagree with one, permabanning people, and two, it being GMs for multiple reasons, which we've already discussed a lot. But yeah, just that seems hella overkill, even for the most egregious offenders, in all honesty. Also, like, the GMs thing is weird, man. GMs don't control everything that their guild does. You have officers that do things as well. So, yeah. I don't know. It's weird to me.
Yeah, we're innocent! Leave us alone!
West J Finn says, there isn't any worthy benefit to making free tries a permanent feature. This is, last week I asked if they should just leave those boxes. It says, it is used as a tool to bring back and hold on to players, and other catch-up mechanics like free enhancing materials, fail stacks, promote engagement from the players, as well as them learning the systems, instead of just learning how to right-click an icon on the vendor. That's a valid point. It's not too bad. They'd still have to do that with accessories, though.
Yeah.
Peepoo Papa Poopoo says, how KR balances game 101. 1. Something's broken. 2. Someone posts PvP video using the said mechanic. 3. Forum goes crazy, specifically Black Desert Inven. 4. PA nerfs the shit out of the class for profit. 5. Rinse and repeat. Here's another thing about Koreans. Oh, here we go. Now we're getting into the weeds. Each class has their own Kakao chat group, similar to WhatsApp, with most of the PvPers and content creators. They try so hard to control the information that is released. Rangers and DKs are notorious for this. For example, Koreans had no clue how to use the descending current bug until I posted a video of the bug and explained how to do it. All the Rangers that came out and said it was fake and gay and tried to discredit the whole thing. Anyway, good news is that
fake and gay.
Yeah. Anyway, good news is that at least now they're starting to cry about how Sork iframes are busted in the forums after the recent PvP tournament. They still seem to think Sork awake damage is too weak, though. Cheers, mates. Keep up the good content.
This guy's the Alex Jones of your comments right now. He's damn comments are making the frogs gay.
Dude, Pippa Papa Poo Poo, you should link the video that you made about the Ranger descending current bug. I remember that video. I didn't know it was you. And yeah, call out the fucking Rangers, dude. I hate big Ranger propaganda, you know?
Bigger.
Yeah, dude.
Please come into my stream at any point and just say anything that's on your mind. I think you'd really fit in. If I could throw out a shout out to Pippa Papa Poo Poo, I really want to talk to you a lot personally.
Nenny Caldwell says, if they don't punish these exploiters, then I'm 100% exploiting everything I come across. Don't just take the items away. That's like saying nothing happened here. Punish them. In all caps with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9-ish exclamation points.
That's impressive.
Or maybe that's just him saying barcode. Punish them barcodes. I don't know. The Spoon Elite says, personally...
Wait, let's go back to that comment for 1 second. That kid definitely got spanked real hard growing up.
Yikes.
The Spoon Elite says, personally, I don't think they should be penalizing people for having made new accounts for Afuaru maps. I agree it's kind of scummy and annoying if a siege guild has ordered all its members to make alts and then power level them up so they can pump billions of silver into their member, but I really think it's on PA, not the individual. Let me explain with an analogy. And then this analogy is super long, so I'm going to skip to his TLDR. His TLDR says, from the events page and the terms of use, I can't see why people deserve to be punished for using the mechanic this way. At most, the silver should be removed from the market, and ideally PA put their hands up and admit they fucked up.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Yeah, so, but two things can be true at once. First of all, PA/Cacao are fucking idiots for not seeing this as a possibility. And also, the people who exploited it should be punished. Like, these two things are not mutually exclusive from each other. If you abuse a mechanic, whether it was the company's fault or not, which I don't know in what world a mechanic being abusable isn't the company's fault. It's always the company's fault for allowing it to be abused in the first place. But just because it was the company's fault doesn't mean that the players shouldn't get punished for not abusing it.
Yeah.
It's weird. That's a weird take, I think, personally.
I'll give an analogy. If I open up a business and I'm selling smartphones and I make the mistake that I don't put security cameras, I don't put the little beeper at the door, I don't have locks on where all my merchandise is, someone comes in and steals it, yeah, I fucked up because I didn't have security, but that doesn't mean what they did is not wrong, coming in and stealing my shit.
Yeah, for the record, for a while now, Cacao has always put at the bottom of their event patch notes, if you do any weird shit to like benefit yourself in any weird way using this event, we reserve the right to ban you, basically. So,
and I do want to call out Amu specifically because he made that really edgy video of him trying to show emotions about this. And I understand he's probably gotten some racial hatred and stuff, and I'm not condoning that in any way, shape, or form. But he didn't. Number one, he didn't even apologize in that video he made. And number two, you're only sorry because you got caught, right? That's the only reason you're sorry. So we got close to there with that comment. I just really wanted to drive home that a lot of people are only sorry. I don't want the people who if there was anybody who walked up and went, this is fucked and left, they shouldn't get banned. Even if they did a couple, it took them 5 minutes to come to that realization. But, these kids that are sorry because they got caught, fuck you.
Yeah, there's something I noticed with a lot. There's been a lot of apologies, and anytime the apology is comboed with things like, but the sea monster stuff was worse.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or I had no choice but to do it because it was so good. It would be silly for me not to. Like that sort of stuff is just, I don't know. It just makes the whole apology feel disingenuous, and you might as well just not even do it. I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. But
but
if
it
you're
is
going
just
to apologize, no one should be getting attacked. That's the thing. Personal attacks are just, even if you don't like them or hate that they did it, personal attacks are just fucking, they just don't belong in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, the apologies are just kind of half-assed, the ones I've seen so far.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
But that
But
is
that's-
like that
as
is
Tim
human
stated,
nature.
it's not real. It's not really an apology. It's I got caught.
But that is human nature, right? Is like you want to apologize, but at the same time you want to defend yourself. Like you
Right.
just naturally want to defend yourself
For
and
sure.
explain, right? You want to be like, but listen, like let me explain though. Like
Yeah. Fired Up Wing says Etsu is not a DK main. Etsu is a trader main, for sure. DG609 says on the chest event we had 18 new members join our T1 guild. Are we at risk for running those chests with real members? Yeah, your GM should be permanently banned.
yeah.
Probably not. Honestly, I doubt anyone that did a standard amount of chests are gonna have anything happen to them.
What's the standard amount, Frosty? Give me a number.
His guild.
that guild is the standard amount.
There is no. I'm sorry, but there's no guild that had new players come in that did 300 chests. You can't convince me that they did. Okacha says feels smudge man. I chose a white logo for white background because I'm 8-head apparently. Keck W. He's the guy that I said his icon looks like a smudge on my monitor.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what is this on my monitor? I gotta wipe this off. Jimmy Lang says got banned, but he said ooh woo, totally worth it.
Oh my gosh.
What is that from? What's he referring to? I forget. Who got banned?
I just like that his name's Jimmy and he said ooh woo.
Jimmy Lang got banned, but he said ooh woo, totally worth it. Nova says on the topic of the exploit.
Oh, I know what that's from. That's because remember I was saying that I was going to ban everyone who would type ooh woo in my goddamn comments.
Yeah, got banned, but it's gotcha. He got you to say ooh woo. On the topic of the exploit, Nova says, on the topic of the exploit, I hope they do the same that KR did with the same event when it was on KR servers, but the people who used it at least 3 times that 30-day ban, giving them out the names, people who use the exploit, that'll never happen. They won't give the names here. This is what happened in KR. To be honest, my opinion from hearing all the voice recordings and them bragging, they should all get permaban, and the same thing for that Joe Never Fails guy who is a partner. He should lose his partnership and be banned of the game and Twitch, since cheating and exploiting is against Twitch terms of service. So wait real quick, I want to comment on the part that, so you notice how he said 3 times debt plus 30-day ban and giving out the names of the people who use the exploit, and then he said from hearing the voice recordings and them bragging, they should all get permaban. Like that's what I meant earlier, like that, because obviously getting permaban because you were bragging about it doesn't make any actual sense, but that made people so much more mad, like the way they were talking in that audio.
Yeah.
Is just like, it went from like, dude, this is bad, like these people are getting money, to like, dude, fuck these guys. Do you hear this shit? You know, like just the arrogance is rough. Joe Never Fails, the thing with him, he has to have participated. Even though he didn't participate in that one, maybe he did in a previous one, no one really knows. Who knows? But if he didn't, then he shouldn't be banned. And I don't know with Twitch TOS if you encourage something like that, if that's against the rules or not, but who knows?
So while this would have been going on, the only time he played BDO, because his stuff was in transit for about a week during his move, the only time he played BDO is sitting directly next to me. And he did not, I mean, he just like life skilled, like turned in his guru boxes, and then we RBF together. That was the only thing he did. So I can tell you for sure he did not do any maps whatsoever, because he was literally with me the entire time that he could have.
Video evidence,
also,
or you're lying.
Yeah,
selfies.
Right. So
selfies are bust.
Be a weird thing to go in on, right? But anyway, this BDO, this idea of BDO partnership, right, and having it taken away from you. Anytime anybody says that, I just get like this roiling laugh inside of me on how outrageous that is. And then only people who have no idea what the partnership program is or its value would say something like that. And so it's just the idea of his partnership being taken away or something like that is just, it's the funniest thing that I read in his chat often.
All right, let me ask you a question separate. Let's take Joe out of it. Let's say person A is caught exploiting or cheating. In any way, let's just say it's really clearly defined. Like, I don't know. Should their partnership be taken away?
Yeah, if they're banned, right? If they catch a ban, their partnership and should be at least reviewed, right? I had a ban on my account before I started streaming, and it was brought up to me. They're like, "Hey, we need to make sure that you don't do that thing again." And I was like, "Yeah, definitely, no worries." And they're like, "Also, please don't name your characters Cum Dumpster 69 or something." I was like, "All right, I'll do my best." Emery actually.
Oh
told
my
me.
gosh.
Yeah. So
That's fantastic.
but when it comes to exploiting and you do need to, there needs to be a certain standard of conduct, right? And that probably is in there. But as far as the value of the program and stuff is going, you should lose your partnership. Kind of the first reaction is like, oh, sure, whatever.
Underscore says, "Yo, Nayashe snapped. Holy shit! Yikes, Lamau."
Wait, what? A snap?
I think he's referring to after you saw the videos and you came back in.
Yeah, after you watched all the
yeah.
videos and you were
Well,
like,
yeah, I mean,
came back, you were
when
like,
you
fucking
see-
ban them all. Ban them all.
I was like, yeah. I was just like, no. After seeing that, my
Yeah.
opinion completely changed. I kind of had a more softcore approach to dealing with the problem, but then after seeing that, I was just like, no.
Yeah.
This was too like obvious that this was intended to abuse the living fuck out of it.
Yeah,
It was orchestrated. It was organized. There's no way around it.
right.
Just no way.
Papega says, "The way I see it with those Afuaru maps is, 1, they clearly exploited an event, violated TOS. 2, they exploited it to the nth degree. 3, they flooded the market, which affects everyone, with valuable items, drove the prices up, not down. It's confirmed they're getting these those items removed and forced massive negative warehouse balance. The idea that it's an exploit is just like, what the fuck? Or that it isn't an exploit is like, what the fuck? You're not meant to be able to do that many of them. They say it in every GD patch notes event announcing about exploiting events. It's that person being salty. They were stupid enough to think they'd get away with it." Yeah, that is kind of the thing is with the patch notes. It does always say like any improper blah 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 use. It's always there on events,
So to me, I played EverQuest 1, and there was this place right off the bazaar, where you could get a level 1 character. You could stand in this one spot, and you could farm these level 20 mobs and just use like the lowest skill possible, and just grind them down. And you were invincible standing in this one specific spot. That is an exploit. This, what happened here, was an abuse. And that's, I don't want to go too much in on the language, but there seems to be some sort of debate about that.
I disagree totally. The exploit is by definition an exploit. I mean, your exploiting is just describing what you're doing with the event. You're exploiting it to make gains. Like it is by definition an exploit. Like I think people just take the word exploit and think it's harsher than it is, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, it is an exploit. Why even say it's an abuse, not an exploit? Like, what's the benefit of that?
I think exploits are more egregious, right? So, like, when we all heard this, we had to, like Nayashe was saying, it's like, this doesn't sound like something we should really allow to have happen, but it's not like standing in a corner, being completely invulnerable and grinding, if you could do that in Ash Forest or something, right? To me, that's an exploit. You're exploiting the game, something that's not supposed to happen, something that's not supposed to be there. These are things that are supposed to be here and are kind of supposed to happen. And so I think I think exploiting is kin to cheating, and I think abuse is just being opportunistic.
I mean, the actual definition of the word is to make use of and derive benefit from, which is exactly what happened.
Right. In common language, I agree with that, right? If you're
Right.
exploiting something, you're exploiting something. I get that. But I think in video games, it has a different connotation. So I think it's
Maybe.
important to point out. It's my opinion, and I like to say my
Right.
opinion often.
I think too, part of it is some people do confuse exploit with hacking as well, which maybe that's part of the issue here, because it's not, no one hacked, right? No one speed hacked or history hacked or anything like that. It's like, that was
Well, we
also
don't
one of
know
the
that now, do we?
Yeah, I guess we don't know for sure. That was one of the accusations, that they were speed hacking to get their characters leveled up or whatever, but I don't know. Conan says, what was that left to play Final Fantasy thing about?
You talking about your comment where you have a lot of
Yeah.
friends that would go to play Final Fantasy and then come back to the game
Every
after 3
time
months.
someone quits this game, now that Arcade died, they are playing Final Fantasy 14 for a couple weeks before they come back to BDO. Super weird. Icarian Justicar says, thank you for the backup on that issue. It's extremely annoying trying to explain accuracy to people as an evasion witch. Also, only found out about you guys like a few months ago, but love every episode. Nice talk show vibes, and actually just real talk about BDO. I think he's thanking me. And you're welcome.
No, it's me.
Bunny says, opinion on exploiters. 100% should be full-on banned. I don't know why, but everyone knowing someone is making this much, and he posted a Discord link where there's 42 Hooms, 44 Macalods, 272 Hearts, 158 Sharps, bunch of Ogres, bunch of boss boxes, yada yada. 1,100 memory fragments, a sharp Alex. It looks so bad when you see the loot here. Wait, let me put this for you guys.
Yeah, it's fucking awful.
Oh my god, dude. This one is bad. This one isn't even showing the fail stacks either. Oops.
Jesus.
Yeah, that one's not even showing the fail stacks because you get a
That's
lot
the
of
problem.
15, 25
People
stacks.
don't even fucking think about that fact. All the fail stacks they get too.
Only
it's
194 pearls.
I know, right? This person's
Dude.
not even a big spender. From running these maps, while I work on my gear and grind is just too much. And if you look at the event page on the website, it literally says, and I quote, any exploit or abnormal ways of entering in-game events may result in the restriction of your account. At the bottom of the event page, here's the link to the page, and he links it as well. Yeah, I don't know why everyone says, like, no one said you can't abuse this. That is, like, someone's defense. That's the worst defense. You know what? If I had to make a defense for the exploiters, my defense would probably be something like the hedgehogs, where people use the hedgehog, like, buy an account and gift it to themselves kind of thing. Or whatever. Like, how come that's not being... Like, if I had to make an analogy, if I wanted to play devil's advocate, the whole, like, it's just this, how could this possibly be wrong is, like, the worst defense. It's
well, it's like... Silent Chad mentioned this too. It's like, it's not that awful when you look at the duration and the amount of money people made in sea monster hunting. That's not the point, though. It's not about something else. It's we're talking about this particular topic, like.
So this person says,
well, that's usually just deflection, right? Like that's usually just, yeah, I did something bad, but look at these guys over here. They did something bad. What the heck?
This person also says, so random question, parentheses, don't know if this has happened to a class before, but what if Cacao PA reworked a class fully, like brand new skills, new play style, etc., etc.? I don't know, just thought came to mind while you guys were talking about changes to skills and updates to classes. Anyways, hope you guys are doing all right, being safe. Thank you for the podcast, Rez. I'm still not banned. Shrugs heart. He
One,
probably
I
made
think
you say
that
something.
League of Legends.
Terrible
Number two,
idea.
He needs to look at Succession.
Yeah, Succession kind of did that. The thing is if you actually completely reworked an entire class, like as unpopular as the most unpopular classes are, there are still a lot of people who enjoy it, and they would be very, very upset. I mean, look at Nayashe. Like you think Maywall's unpopular? It's like, yeah, it is. Not a lot of people play it, and if they do, it's usually life skills. But you'd make Nayashe sad if you completely reworked it. He'd be a little pissed off.
Now he might easier class. He'd be better at the game though.
He might eventually get over it, right? Especially if like what you gave him was better than before. But he'd probably still be like, "Yeah, dude, you changed my shit. I like that shit. That was my shit."
All right. Yeah. I mean, imagine if they made Maywall more like Mystic, an actual bad class. Nahul Sauma says, just for clarification, at least for Ranger, split damage is not being removed from any skill. That was just a translation error. They're only adding tooltips. Nothing else was changed in regards to projectile split damage and functionality according to Ranger Discord and tests. Yeah, I don't believe that for 1 second. I think maybe it wasn't removed from important skills because there weren't any on some skills and people thought it was on everything. But I do think it was changed on some abilities, maybe skills that just people don't really care about. I don't think because the patch note has been removed, and they were so specific with Ranger, removed split damage from their pre-awakened skill tree, and then added a tooltip for the ones that still have it. Like, it just seems like an unnecessary note, because by that same statement, they didn't remove split damage from Musa, Meiwa, Ninja, Kuno. They just added tooltips, which I don't believe is the case. Yeah, but probably not as much on Ranger. Maybe there's stuff, I don't know, it's a range class, so maybe it still needs it, who knows. Murderkind says save for V accessories. Ah, yeah, I caved. I have full Tri-Tongue-Grad accessories, or Tat Tongue-Grad accessories. I can hit the 289 bracket once I get Caphras in my main hand, and then I'm gonna save for a pen. So, yeah.
Hold on, I wanna interject something real quick. There's someone in chat saying that let me see this. So this person says that I think it's hypocritical streamers did the sea monster hunting exploits, now acting like they've never done anything. And then somebody says, well, everyone complained about sea monster hunting, so it's like, everybody complained about it just like everybody's complaining now. It says no one did, not dedicating full streams or podcasts pointing out exploiters. There was a lot. We did several episodes on this podcast about sea monster hunting and how it was like fucking busted and something needed to be done about it. Now, I don't know about full streams. You didn't have snake streamers like sailing out on their boats to go watch the people cheat and sea monster hunting, if that's what you're asking. But that's not it's not a 1-to-1 exactly, right? You don't have like a specific time and a place that they knew, oh, this is where all the exploiters are going to be. Like, that was why they were able to do that.
Yeah, there's a couple like big differences. One, first of all, it negatively affected the market so badly that people were quitting the game. People couldn't buy a Tri-Ogre for less than 8 billion silver because of the sea monster thing. And it got changed and removed, but it was just under the radar for so long. And it was like, it wasn't, it's just a different way. It's just different. It's not that people, I don't know if he's just calling out like the sea monster hunters themselves as hypocrites, and that's fine. I don't disagree. They are. If they're sitting there saying they should be banned for this and they weren't banned for that, whatever, fine. But I mean, for me, I again don't have any skin in the game. I'm not with Snake or Black Rose, and for me, I wish the sea monster hunters were banned back in the day, or at least temp banned or punished for something, or some of the silver removed.
So it seems like
just
his
like
main
I do now.
complaint. It seems like his main complaint is the people that were swapping guilds to get payouts. But again, like, these things were widely talked about in the community as like being an issue.
And complained about, and were changed. And yeah,
I actually want to point out
you're not gonna have Vert like streaming people leaving their guild and joining another one to get payouts. It's not gonna happen.
It's difficult, yeah.
I started my streaming career with doing one-on-one podcasts with influential people in the community, and one of them was the GM of Ascendance, Fresh, and his big gripe that he exposed was dead serious abusing sea monster hunting. And so you want to say that nobody exposed this, and streamers take advantage of exploits all the time. I never took a CTG to get my crates in. I never exploited sea monster hunting, never did feather wolves, never did anything anywhere near that. And to dig in on the point that he brought up, I also did have a podcast where we went super far in on dead serious exploiting sea monster hunting, to the point where they found out my real name and posted it in world chat and all this crazy I was stream sniped for months, all that stuff. So maybe pay attention before you just lump everybody.
Yeah, like,
in there,
if you actually think nobody was talking about how busted sea monster hunting was and the swapping guilds for payouts and stuff, you just weren't paying attention, my guy. Like, it was everywhere.
It was on Reddit. Every single patch, sea monster hunter nerfs win. Like, literally people were complaining about it so much. And it was hard to pinpoint who was doing it because people weren't like openly. I mean, even think about like the way we're getting these Discord screenshots of everyone's loot, right, from this chest event was the same thing. Remember, payouts were like, how is this fair? And people were leaking like payout screenshots,
Yeah,
that it was
like billions of
yeah,
silver.
it was super widely spread out, and people did complain, and people probably should have been banned. It didn't happen, and that fucking sucks. But that doesn't change what's going on now.
Yeah, and you can't go back and retroactively ban those people either.
Yeah,
Like you can't be like, oh, by the way, now we're gonna go back in time and every exploit, every cheat, every abuse, whatever you want to call it, that
And
has
nobody
ever been
wants
done
that.
in this game, we're gonna ban people for it.
I just read that.
Nobody wants that, right? We just want it to get better moving.
Yeah. This guy says Murderkind's second comment was also the duel for spot thing. At Star's End, almost every time after the duel, there's just a whole new person there. Spend an hour looking for a good open rotation, find one, duel for spot, win, lose, then someone running maps is in your spot. Vesper BR says, thanks for the Spotify link. I'm sharing with my friends on consoles. We listen to it while grinding. Awesome, man. Thank you. The Musassin says 286 Moose AP Musa Tet Blackstar with Nuver. I noticed now I shred through Star's End. That split damage removal definitely helped PvE, and also PvP is good as well. Was in RBF yesterday and I was shredding like Master Shredder. I like that enthusiasm, dude.
Master Shredder.
Mhm.
Damn.
Is
What
that
title?
the Musassin actually being positive in this comment section for once?
Yeah, and
Holy shit.
I don't think he knows how Shredder's ultimate fate. He's defeated, man. Enfrax BDO EU Seraphic says, enjoyed the episode a lot. Without a guest, it's sometimes even better because the free chat between you guys is just amazing to listen to, though I missed my weekly dose of hearing how fucked up Maywa is. Much love.
Sorry.
Hey, you didn't actually really get any of that today, too, now that I think about it.
Yeah. He's out of things to talk about. Luciano Iwanaga says, Valk buff when? I think we're getting a buff on NA this week, right? From 2 weeks ago. That was on the minor things. Yeah,
It's called Succession.
Succession is pretty decent. Probably needs.
Yeah,
some
I
buffs
don't
too,
know why
but-
I don't see more Valks on Succession. As a matter of fact, I don't know why I don't see more Valks, but I guess that's another problem.
I want to play Valk Succession. I just don't want to grind.
I always thought they had the best costumes. I would expect our peers on here, you know?
Yeah. Talos Acceptum says, hearing the name Lefty Lucy makes me feel nostalgic. I played ESO when Lefty played it too, and I watched him stream BDO at that time. Around that time, Nayashe talks about being permared and thought the game looked amazing. I used to watch Lefty's PvP montages on YouTube with Nayashe all the time. I lived for that. I don't have a PC, so I could never play it, but there's the reason I've always wanted to. I played the Xbox beta, pre-ordered the deluxe edition, never looked back. Thanks, Lefty. Yeah, and Lefty was carrying Nayashe.
I will pass on your sentiments to Lefty. I'm sure he will appreciate them.
Stu says Zerk being good for 1%. PA, this is OP. Nerf 50% more. Yep, standard. Patrick Gregoria says I just discovered your channel. I've been enjoying it a lot. Thank you. West J Finn says Reckless Blow for Warrior has always been a throwaway skill since how quick we can put in a combo but not rely on its damage when it's supposed to be a big hitter. With the evasion meta, it's super easy to just miss 100% of Reckless Blow damage with its X2 hits. Dropping the per hit damage and giving it more hits is going to be better than if they just gave us accuracy on it for sure. And then someone says, I like this change, waiting for it on console. They got the previous Warrior buff. Dude, I still can't get over that they have Dregan and they don't have Caphras Stones. That's so fucking weird.
That's weird.
So I went, my Xbox guild actually celebrated 1 year, and hey, Shaky, it's called after. And I went back and they all did pen attempts and stuff like that. And they're just as flabbergasted. They can't believe it either. Also, a lot of those guys have the same or more gear than me without Caphras. It's insane.
Yeah.
And the
Those
beta
guys
went
swipe
really strong on Xbox?
They swipe so hard, dude.
Jesus.
They grind even harder though, man. Like, it's not just swiping. It's both.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeremy Johnson says Lon's damage issue is the same as Sork's. It's because of AP scaling issues. It wasn't too OP until it got into the hands of higher AP players. Remember the Sork 30 to 40% nerf on skills recently? Same issues. When devs test, it's balanced, but PA never tests with true endgame gear. that's out there in the wild, hence the constant walkbacks. Played in KR for a while, and it's fairly obvious Sork is bottom tier over there because her average damage is lower than most classes. She's a scratch and dash class that needs to chip and dip, not DPS, as she's always labeled in NA.
I really love that explanation.
Yeah, me too.
Scratch and dash, chip and dip.
She appears to be S tier in NA because of a gear gap and lack of AP scaling. In KR, where average gear score is higher, she's bottom tier. No one ever mentions how many Sorks they smear while they casually grind over the weekend. It's just that 1/600 gear score Sork that's been main since launch. They crossed in RBF. Seeing videos that give the class OP illusion, and again, in a situation not encountered in KR because they realize that at that level of gear score, there's far more effective classes, hence the Sork buffs, where KR's meta is given priority.
It sounds like Koreans are shit at Sork.
Yeah. Can I jump in on this one?
Yeah, wait, real quick. I just want to point out the example. You were actually... I remember I was streaming in Discord, Nayashe, when you hopped in the other day.
Yeah.
I don't know what average gear score people assume they have in KR, but I have 360 DP, and I've been told for the last 5 months that evasion is busted. Once you get over 700 evasion, you're unkillable, yada yada yada. That Sork was killing me in 2 skills.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more evasion or DR they have, and that's on like Kuno, where we get the smokescreen evasion buff that is also supposed to be overly OP. So like, I don't know why people think Sorks don't do damage in KR. It's not. I just don't. It's not true.
Yeah, it's I typically don't really like to use KR players as a reference to how certain classes are, because they just have a different way of playing than we do.
I mean, they also
to
are
put
like,
it nicely.
they also are being misrepresented. I do think there are really good KR players, and I think the complainers are the complainers. So a
Yeah.
lot of the time, the people that are giving feedback on it are like, "Well, out here, we're not doing that well," and it's like, well, where is that opinion being derived from? Because like I watched the Show Me the Control tournament where it was 630 to 650 gear score. Yeah, it was only Sorks, literally Sorks. That's it. It was in the round of 8. It was 4 Sorks, 2 warriors, a ninja, and what's it called, Berserker. For some reason, he got in. I don't know what happened.
What someone will probably try to comment and say is like, "Oh, well, that's just because their CCs, catches, and whatnot, not their damage."
Yeah,
no.
I mean, they were doing the same damage.
Overall, they're the biggest problem with Sork as a whole, whether it be, I think it's more Awakening, I guess, not really Succession. Succession is okay, and it has some openings that make it a little bit easier to play against, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Awakening, though, the pokes just do a massive amount of damage while also CCing. Yeah, they take risks, which is, fair and balanced in that respect, but it's just constant. They can keep it going. Like, and the fact that they take no chip damage, they don't take other things like debuffs because of their iframes. Like, it's hard to land debuffs on a class like that. And those things, they start playing a major role in how it dictates a fight,
A lot of these comments, really, it's easy to derive, and some other podcasts have done things like this, where I'm really uninterested in somebody's opinion on their class if they've only played that class, right? If they go, my class sucks. Well, what other class have you played? None. Shut up. You have no perception whatsoever.
So, by Tim's estimation,
but I mean, Frosty's played many classes. He's been dog shit at all of them. So, I mean,
and then Sork's kick. Sork's kick is crazy.
By Tim's estimation, I am the most qualified to talk about balance here, as I've played the most classes.
I agree. I completely agree.
Excuse me, how many classes?
Hold on, I have a Reddit post that states otherwise over there, Frosty.
I know, I'm just...
How many classes have you leveled to 60? Because I'm pretty sure I'm past you at this point.
I think only 9. I think I only have 9. How many do you have now?
I have, let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I'm on 9 right now. God damn it.
All right. Well,
oh, wow. So you leech trees really often, so you want to talk about class balance?
Yeah, he knows class balance because he's at Polly's. He's in the brunt of it, dude.
It's a rough time over there. You know how much fucking PV... God damn it, this fucking reconnect shit.
I don't think
By the way...
Yeah.
I was just going to say, Frosty, my favorite comment in this whole the live stream is the two skills you got one hit by are obviously chip and then dip.
It's true.
Chip and dip.
No, yeah, and then he got away because he scratched and dashed right out.
Damn.
I don't think that someone that plays one class, their opinion is completely invalid, but there's an element of everyone thinks that their class is the only class that has gaps and openings, and even on a Sork, like as much as everyone hates it, those gaps and openings, and they get caught because of desync and
they
shit,
do exist.
It happens to them too, and it happens to everyone. Like I don't know, it just didn't happen to Lon, and that's why this following comment
just didn't happen to Lon.
He says, "LOL, as suspect." He commented on his own comment 5 days later, and he says, "LOL, as suspected, Lawn Succession has been seriously nerfed. I'm telling you, devs aren't testing with live gear, so they keep having to circle back and not nerf but nuke classes into the ground. I've moved from my 272 313 Sork to a Kuno now, saw the damage numbers in Succession. Better believe I bailed on Succession the second I saw the numbers and stuck with Awakening. Here she got nerfed too, called it immediately. Shit goes round and round because they don't test in a realistic environment. Give it 5 to 6 months, Lawn will be buffed back up again after they ruin a few more classes, and the player model shows they can make some instant cash off of a few thousand rerolls."
Agreed. Nail on the head, dude.
Yeah, not wrong, dude. Not wrong. Glyphware says, "Just take away the silver that those people made from the exploit. It's simple. Don't even ban them. Let them run with negative silver in their marketplace. We didn't have people exploit this on EU, but it's retarded seeing some streamers justify it. Keck W, good podcast as always."
EU didn't exploit it because they weren't smart enough to.
Yeah, idiots. You're just jealous. You're just jealous, Glyphware. Lord X says, "At Frosty, I would save for a pen accessory. Once you get pen, then no need to upgrade the slot. In my opinion, spending silver to change Tet accessory delays the inevitable pen grind. You end up with a cheaper short-term gain and then extend the end game grind." Yep, and that's exactly what I did. It's all right.
Not to jump off topic here, but I was literally just bitching how I've used 3 loot scrolls in Kartuga, haven't got 1 yellow. All these blue fucking April Fool items is the only thing I've gotten, and then I literally the next pack I got a ton greater.
Have you seen that witch video? I actually don't know if it's advanced loot scroll or not, but that witch that got 10.1k trash in Kartuga.
What?
Yeah.
How?
Dude, I don't even think that most people would get that with an advanced loot scroll, right? I don't know. They posted a 1-hour video of their grind, and they got 10.1k trash on Succession Witch. The other thing is, I Am Choice recently posted.
A lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, dude. I Am Choice recently posted a video kind of proving that Kartuga is not AP capped.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of people.
It's AP capped, but you can beef it up by using more PvE damage add-ons and other things that help boost PvE related.
No, it's just straight up not AP capped.
Yeah, it has no AP cap whatsoever. He shows a video test like, side by side
on Reddit.
Yeah, here I'll link it right now in the chat. We'll watch the little video.
I mean, that's the first I've heard of that, but
it's he just did it. I want to say the video came out last night at like 4 a.m. because Choice doesn't sleep.
He doesn't sleep.
Yeah,
he's got to make games, dude.
That's funny because I talked to Choice like maybe a month or so ago about Kartuga, and he said it was capped. So I guess maybe his opinion changed.
That's not allowed.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
We need to ban him.
No one's opinions ever change in this shit.
This is such a cool video format too. Here, I'm posting it in the Discord now, so you guys can all watch. All he did, I believe, is change his accessories. He said that he did it in a way to make sure there's no monster damage or any other changes. It was literally just AP and then a minimal amount of accuracy based on the accessories.
Well, that's a cool little test.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kartuga mobs are just tanky as shit. That's why it probably feels capped. They're actually like kind of tanky. I don't know. I know someone was like, no, that's the only reason those damage differences are there is because the accuracy. I'm like, you realize that's a 6 accuracy difference in like each of those things, or like 12. Like if you're telling me 12 accuracy
100% crit,
is gonna make me do 3 times the I think it is 100% crit skill, isn't it?
Wait, what did he change out though?
No,
Oh,
he shows,
he changed his
yeah, it shows
overall
the
AP.
Yeah, it's 254, 269, and 305. Also, what the fuck? 305 AP, dude.
That's
with
isn't that with
Kuno.
Kuno?
I think that's with Kuno, isn't it? Oh my god, it is.
That's what happens when all your mapping exploits don't get caught on screen. You know?
It's true. Choices are genius. Anyway, I'm sure someone will disprove that later, and then I'll have egg on my face. So, Yumena Dai says, last and uwu.
Nice.
So that is the podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening, following along. And Tim, if you could give a little bit of where people can find your shit, YouTube, your Twitch, and all that.
Don't fucking watch me.
Okay.
And yeah, and since Tim was kind enough to beg to be on the podcast, I don't mind getting. I don't mind here in the next few days if you catch me streaming and you're about to hop off. If you want to host me, Tim, that's fine. This isn't a beg; it's just an ask. No, thanks for coming on, man. It was fun.
Anytime. I love doing this stuff. So thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I'm TimAllen 1337 on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter.
Okay. Anyone else want to add anything? Any last thoughts before we close out?
Appreciate Tim jumping on, giving us
one last question for Nayashe. How do you play this game without seeing world chat? You're missing literally 90% of the content of this game.
Yeah, I know. I really need to work on that.
I enjoy world chat and server chat being up at all times for me when I play.
Same.
I know people, it's like toxic, but it's kind of interesting in there sometimes. Makes me laugh. All right, so yeah, subscribe to the podcast, follow the podcast, join the Discord for the value pack. Make sure you like us, share us, all that stuff. Get it out there. I'll probably have a Reddit post for this on Monday morning when it comes out. Make sure you follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/SoFrosty. Make sure you follow Nayashe, which is twitch.tv/SoFrosty. And then...
I had a weird feeling that was coming.
No, it's twitch.tv/Nayashe_NA?
Yes.
Yeah. And then Reslar, he'll be making more Zerker complaint videos in the future, I'm sure. And yeah, thanks for joining us, guys.